Hello and welcome back to the Pop Tab Podcast, the podcast that's as sweet as soda for breakfast. I'm one of your hosts, Brent Kruscke, the upholder of the unpopular opinion. And joining me today, as always, the ghost host, Jacob Stokes.
Gengar.
I didn't expect that one.
I'm wearing my Gengar hoodie.
That's a good one.
I found it in the back of the closet.
It was good. I didn't expect it.
I don't even know if that's how he sounds. I didn't watch the show, so I don't hear him say his own name.
He does say his own name. Like,
well, of course he does.
Gengar. Yeah, he does. I was like in my head.
But he could have been like, Gengar.
Well, it depends, because he's a jokester. He does a lot of jokes.
Gengar.
He does a lot of tongue.
But there's the, Charmander doesn't go, Charmander.
That's true.
Char.
Well, really high pitch, but yeah.
Well, I'm just saying the word.
Yeah.
But he could have done the same thing.
Well, he does Charmander, Char.
I wouldn't know that.
Oh, he does. He does the full name.
Pika-Pee. It's
Pika-Pee,
that's not his fucking name.
Speaking of that, the Sonic trailer, the new one.
Stop, dude.
Where they fucking make fun of Tails. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
It's they're at.
We were supposed to watch a trailer before.
Oh,
this.
we were.
28 weeks.
Fuck. 28 years.
Years, I meant.
Fuck.
Well,
we were. But the trailer, they're at the Chow Garden, which is important for the actual Sonic Adventure 2. But forget that. They're at like a pizza place. And these kids come up and they go, "Are you Detective Pikachu to Tails?" And Knuckles goes, "Huh, he does look like a Pokemon. Pika-Pee." It's so funny. I can't wait for that.
And they
movie.
can make that joke?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I thought. I was like, dang.
That's a very licensed
Well,
joke.
to be fair, they're all in Smash Bros. They're all shaking hands, right?
Sonic's in Smash Bros?
Yeah.
The new one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because he jumps off the spoing to get up and... Okay.
Keep going.
Where was I? Oh, the Pop Tap Podcast filmed in front of a live Twitch audience. Head on over to twitch.tv/RealPixel. Be part of that conversation. If you want, you can chat right live with us and be part of the conversation.
Just like Real Pixel is.
Just like Real Pixel is. We have streams for the rest of the week. I'm trying to figure out schedules with Alec, but Thursday will probably be me playing Spider-Man because Alec's got kids until late that night. Maybe some late Marvel Rivals. Maybe some late Marvel Rivals.
Spider-Man and Marvel. Right, you're gonna.
Well, I was thinking if I crank out the video today, tomorrow will be our Marvel Rivals day. If you're free.
Wednesday?
Yeah. Not for stream, just to do some
stream.
competitive.
Okay, I was like,
or maybe a bonus
like,
stream.
Oh man,
maybe we'll
really
throw a bonus stream.
Ready for that,
I don't know.
We'll
figure it out. Figure it out.
Because if it's a bonus, it's got to be a bonus. We can't plan a bonus.
That's true. Friday we'll be doing games. Saturday might be a day off because I might be going to see 2 movies. Might be another big movie day.
I thought this last Saturday was movie day for you.
Last Saturday had nothing come out.
Well, no, you had 2 movies you wanted to see, right? You wanted to see
I wanted
Y2K.
to see Y2K and Werewolves, but we just didn't end up going to theaters.
Right. And Red One's out.
Red One's Thursdays on Prime. I'm watching it Thursday.
Oh, on Prime?
Yeah.
Free?
I think so. To be fair, I guess I just saw it on Prime.
It's on Prime. That you can rent shit on Prime.
That's true. I don't know. But I'll pay to see it. I don't care.
Yeah, you could just pay to see it in the theater, too.
I could have.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Especially if you're already going.
I guess it's out still, but it's not an IMAX anymore, I don't think.
It never was, right?
It was a problem. I don't know. I want to watch the movie. It's available at my house.
The problem. Sure.
This week we got Craven and we've got Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim. So
that's right.
Those 2 big ones.
Yeah, I forgot about Lord of the Rings.
So maybe not anything Saturday, but then definitely something Sunday, possibly.
So I'm going to see Craven without you then.
Probably.
Okay, I wasn't invited to the Saturday, so I just don't know.
Well, here's the thing: is I wanted to do it Saturday, but they got weird times because Craven's only in IMAX at night, and I'm trying to do the Saturday morning movies.
You said you wanted to do it Saturday, but
they only have it at night, so I'm like, I don't know if I want to have the whole day leading up. Like I like going to the movies early, getting it done, and then having the whole day, where I don't have to leave the house.
Oh,
now it's, I guess, hang out all morning and then wait until 6:40 for the first showtime in IMAX.
Where are they on Thursday, Friday?
I don't know, but Bethany's not usually available in time to get there. Thursdays and Fridays. It's rough. And we stream.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But if they do it 2:00 on a Friday, does she care about the movie? Was the thing I'm like, I don't even know if she cares about the Lord of the Rings one. These both sound like you're going to the movies and you're dragging your wife along.
Well, she wants to see Lord of the Rings because it's animated. She'll see animated movies.
I guess that's fair.
It's like anime.
It's more that she's
adjacent.
for the anime. It just happens to be Lord of the Rings.
She also likes Lord of the Rings. I don't know. Well, you know what? She'll come in for lunch today.
But
she'll check. We'll check. We'll see.
The comparative of it is not equal.
That's fair. We'll see. We'll check times and then we'll see if she really wants to or does not care to see either of those.
Well,
movies.
I need to know this because that would change my Thursday plan. Because I know Shay's not going to care about Craven. I know Shay's not going to care about Craven, and if I remember correct, her derby practices have moved to Thursdays. So her Thursday night is busy. I'm like, oh, I'll just go Thursday.
That's fair.
And if it's in IMAX on Thursday, especially.
Mm-hmm. You remember, I think it was last podcast, it was 2 weeks ago now, when you were like, I put my thumb there and it lifts the thing up, and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird.
Well, yeah, I actually put my first finger, but yeah, I do it like that.
Oh.
I'm a 2-finger guy.
Well,
Because you're afraid of the fucking
Right.
puncturing, which is why you lay it flat, your finger's not going in.
Totally. Ever since then, every time I grab a can of soda and open it, I just realize I have put my thumb there every time, and I just don't even think about it. So it's something I do, even though I'm afraid to do it.
Well, I don't know. I was always the one-handed claw, you know?
Yeah, no,
But now I manage 2 hands. Maybe it is because of the fucking I don't want to puncture it. I just don't think about it anymore.
we just open a lot of cans. It's so second nature.
Well, yeah, now it's just.
I mean,
like,
the one
if you
hand
were to
thing is
ask me
cool.
which shoe do I tie first? I'd be like, man, I don't know. I'll have to just notice it next time.
Oddly enough, I think if I tie my shoes, my left shoe goes on first, but I wear a lot of slip-ons, and it always is right first. That's weird. I never thought about that till right now. Because I'm thinking,
Well, maybe not you because you're slipping on all the time. But
because when I get to the gym, first thing I do is I put on my left shoe to tie it, and then I tie my right shoe to run. And then when I switch to the lifting, I do slip-ons. I have just copies of what I'm wearing now, and I always put the right in first. And I never thought about that.
fucking weirdo.
That is weird.
It's like a switch.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we got streams coming up.
But you're moving on Saturday.
I might be.
Apparently, maybe. This is not even a set in stone thing.
I tried to figure out plans yesterday and the day before, and I could not get solid plans out of anybody. That's the big problem. And also, I usually have it figured out before the weekend, but last week I think I had changes to do in the edits up until Sunday.
Lots of editing.
It was just like I was just so busy, so I didn't get it. So I'm a little bit behind. I apologize. I'm also behind on the YouTube edits for VODs and stuff, so I apologize there as well. But I will get to them. I've got 2 different Spider-Man videos, I think, maybe even 3 Spider-Man videos, and I think 4 Marvel Rival videos. But my big thing was I want to work on stuff for the business today, get the video done. But then I was thinking about maybe creating out some rivals that were feeling good, try competitive tomorrow, see how that goes, see if people are like trying, like doing the right roles, doing the things, and seeing if it's worthwhile. Because if we play 4 games and every game's just a shit show, then I just don't want to do it. You know what I mean? But if it's like people are really caring, or we can get enough people to make it worthwhile, then I want to. I'm not going to beat my head against the wall, but I kind of want the skin. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
So
I get it. And a title and whatever.
Yeah.
It looks like Thursday. Lord of the Rings IMAX 3:30.
Okay.
Craven IMAX 6:35. Shay's practice is at 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like 20 minutes away from the theater, so I'd have to be like dropped off at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know? And then she'd be scooting.
Mm-hmm.
And at a 2-hour movie, she'd be, no, I go with the drive back. No, I think it'd be about right.
Are you adding 20 minutes in for the
Yeah.
crazy amount of trailers they throw on?
Well, it's 2 hours, 7 minutes. I'll just say 2 hours,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. 8:30 is when that movie would be getting done. You add in 30 minutes
Yeah.
and now it's
9.
9, but her practice is from 6:30 to 8:30, about 20 minutes away.
Okay.
Right? So I'm like, okay, she might have to wait, but
Yeah.
not long. So I think Craven would be a Thursday for me.
Okay. I will check with Bethany on lunch today. I told her to wait till after 2, so the podcast is done. So hopefully when we wrap up, she'll be what? Oh no. Is it a special one-time showing of some obscure thing you really want to see? Of course it is.
Dude, yes.
What is it?
Good read on that.
I
It's the
know.
1974 Black Christmas 50th anniversary.
Okay, that one's actually really cool. And I know how much
At
you care about that one.
7:30.
It's not like, it's an obscure movie that I hear somebody talk about on a podcast, and this is my one chance to see it.
You were
This is a fan
thinking
favorite.
like a Blood and Honey, like a
Yes,
Winnie the Pooh.
that's
like,
what I was
they're
thinking. I was like,
showing it.
whoop-de-doo.
Well, yeah.
This one I get.
They're doing Dr. Seuss, Grinch Stole Christmas, the Jim Carrey,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're doing Black Christmas. Those are like the 2, but dude, there's one showing 7:30. Oh,
Do you think? So, when we grew up, I would say when we grew up.
I was say,
I'll say when we grew up. I'll put us together.
I'll take
The
that.
animated Grinch was the one you probably watched as a kid, right?
It's the one I loved. Like my first, because the family tradition when I was living with parents was you buy an ornament every year. And
Yep.
they take you to the Hallmark or wherever we would go. It was typically Hallmark in the mall, and it was pick an ornament.
Was it just pick?
It was pick. Yeah.
I always got gifted whatever hockey one of the year. It'd be because growing up, I was
That's
just a
right.
Red, I
That's
was
right.
just
You
a
play
Red Wings fan.
sports.
Yeah, I was just a Red Wings fan. But I
Sure.
have a Penguins ornament. I have a Rangers. I have just like random hockey players because
Oh.
it's like every year they would come out with one player as the hallmark ornament, and I would get every one of those.
Oh, that's funny. No, the tradition was like pick whatever you want. I mean, obviously, the first couple of years I didn't pick what I wanted,
Right.
but when I was able to start picking, you can see it's fun watching the history of it because there's also some that just you're like, this can only mean one thing. This was the year I did that thing because one of them was like I spent a whole year rebuilding a church.
Oh, okay.
So I did tile, roofing, framing, drywall, landscaping, like for a whole
And so
year.
you got a tile ornament.
So I got an ornament that was like fucking hammers, saws, and wood, and
okay.
like it was like, oh look, I was a little builder this year, or the year that because in high school I did sports my freshman year to be like I'll give it one last shot. Now it's in high school, it means more than middle school, and I just realized I hated it. My senior year, I came back just to play football because I was like, I'm going to wrap it up with all my friends. All my friends play football. I'm going to do it with them as like a final, whatever.
Yeah.
So I got a Sports Center TV that you push a button, it does the da da dun da da dun.
Nice.
It was just like there's things that I tie it to, but the first 6 ornaments I chose were all Grinch.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, and I think it's funny how it ties into me now.
Right.
But I'm like, I just loved the Grinch. I had Grinch plushies. I had Grinch like everything. I just loved the animated Grinch. I was like, this evil bastard is so cool.
There had to be a time where we also got just a bunch of ornaments, and I wasn't just one a year because I'm thinking about all the ornaments that I have, and I'm like, there's way more than one a year. I had a lot.
We were only allowed to do one a year. The only exception to that was when we would make them in school. Because 3rd grade, you do a macaroni one where you fucking spray painted, and we did this whole thing, and then ones where you put little beads and you learned sewing. I don't know what it is, but all those different ones. I'm gonna be coughing a lot. Those were the outliers, were the handmade ones for school.
No,
Everything else was one a year.
because I've got Power Ranger one with like the Red Ranger holding presents and a Christmas tree and stuff. I think my favorite one is
That's cool.
Is that one's cool because it's Power Rangers and it's from that time.
Red
I think
Ranger too.
My favorite one is a Spider-Man one because he's like shooting webs and the webs are hooks, so you hook them to branches with the webs. He's got one on his back to hold the weight because he's heavy, but the webs are what you see, and I'm like, that's always really cool to
That is cool.
space
To
out the
put the
webs wherever
webs.
you want.
Or you could like put them on or near another ornament.
Yeah.
The favorite one that I had growing up as a kid that my mom tells me was my favorite, and I just loved it forever long, was it's Grinch,
Of course.
but it's a Grinch lunchbox that opens up with a separate Grinch thermos. But they're tiny.
Whoa.
And it was just like, there's a thing with tiny brands now,
Yeah.
right? Like it's its own company to be like, I got a tiny Kraft mac and cheese or
Yep.
whatever. So it was just, maybe it was having those tiny things, but I really enjoyed those. And then the only other one I had that was 2 pieces was the Grinch and Little Cindy Lou Who. Like, I'm telling you, man, Grinch has been there.
But now, kids are watching the Jim Carrey Grinch, right? No, they're watching the cartoon still? Oh, they're not just watching.
There's
They're
a
not
third
watching. Oh, right. The
That's
Benedict.
Benedict.
Yeah, Benedict
They're
Cumberbatch.
watching the Illumination one, which was fine. But there's,
That's crazy.
if you were to ask me now, like if it said, hey, let's watch Grinch, I'd be like, sure, I'll hit play on something. It's the Jim Carrey one.
right.
I went and watched it in the summertime. Aunt Mel took me. We went and saw it in the theaters in the summertime. And I remember being like, when do we get this VHS? And I got the fucking whatever green VHS tape that it came with.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched that movie a lot. And Jim Carrey. I mean, I got
Yeah.
a strong tie to physical comedy and Jim Carrey. And it was just the perfect alignment of everything. It's like my holiday movie of the year.
I believe the Illumination Benedict Cumberbatch one, I think, was directed by the guy who produced all of Kevin Smith's like early films.
Oh, cool.
I think I might be right.
I mean,
I'm not going to
that
double
would be
check.
a
I'm just
fact
going to
that
say
you
it.
would know.
I'm just going to say it as fact right here, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not even going to check it.
Sure.
So
Good thinking.
I know he had something to do with it, but I'm pretty sure he directed it. But either way, I was just thinking because we were talking about Rankin Bass yesterday and how people just don't know those anymore or don't think of it.
When we were thinking, it's funny. I was thinking the same thing yesterday about the lore of Christmases and Christmas movies and whatever. Well, the fun fact I go to is the same guy that directed the Christmas Story directed Black Christmas.
Right.
And I that was the one thing I wanted to say to Gina, and I'm like, if we talk about how she's the one who's in on it, like no one knows Christmas lore, and I go Black Christmas, does she know? And I didn't want it to make it sound like the only fact I wanted to bring up was one that was trying to stump her or
Right.
something. So I literally just kept it quiet because I'm like, listen,
We're not here to.
no one gives a fuck about
No
Black
one's
Christmas.
measuring candy canes here and trying to see who's more into
That's right.
it.
That's right.
But
Jesus.
you know what's interesting? I listened to a podcast today. The first ad it had was for box candy canes. It was a candy cane ad.
But it was probably order our special fucking artisan.
It was candy
made
cans
by
make
elves.
Everything better. It makes this. It's a little spark. It
For
was
big candy
It was
cane?
just a straight candy cane ad, and I went, I don't want a candy cane now, but I'm going to be thinking about this for a while because it's never like here's an M&M ad on a podcast. It's like these are candies. They don't need to advertise. Candy canes shouldn't have to advertise on podcasts. It's a candy cane.
Yeah.
But it's so weird. Candy canes must be declining.
That Oreo one. Guys, go home to your families. We did it.
We did it. We're done.
We're done. It's over. Yeah, it's a lot like that.
Yeah.
It's like that.
I also saw something recently that made like, speaking of like kids lore Christmas. Around this time, you'd always have the kids that are like, oh, my uncle works at Nintendo, or the stories of this and that. And
Yeah. No, for
right?
Christmas in college, I had a buddy whose uncle worked for Nike.
Oh, really?
And we all got like official jerseys for soccer,
Oh, that's awesome.
but they were like $7 a piece.
Woo!
And they were like licensed, and you look now, they're like $50, $60. So
Yeah.
he went and just took personal orders from everybody, and I gave him $7 and got like 4 jerseys.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What I was thinking is like the people that
So
say
I know those people.
they
They're
say
real.
they have, yeah.
Yeah, but the fakers.
The real one I just saw recently that I was like, that's fucking cool. This could be an old story too, but it was a kid went to school and said my uncle's Superman, and kids started making fun of him and bully him. So he went home and told his mom, and his mom called her brother-in-law, and Henry Cavill walked the kid to school the next day because it was literally his uncle. And I was just like, that's like one of those small moments. You're like, God, the kid was telling the truth.
That kid's lore.
And I
is
hope
like
Henry
his-
Cavill fucking picked up those bullies and put them against the locker.
Yeah, what's his? What's the word I'm looking? His aura, dude. His aura just like
Yeah.
to a billion. I was like, oh shit.
Because he's like,
This
he
guy
comes
knows
from that
Superman.
gene pool. Like,
Yeah.
who knows what he
There's-
looks like
there's
now?
crossovers.
Look at the children's pictures of Henry Cavill. Man, he grew up. This kid could be a problem later in life.
He leveled up. Did you see Henry Cavill posted today that, or maybe yesterday? I just saw it today.
The Warhammer.
Yeah, him outside the shop, whatever. And it was
Oh,
just like-
the little shop.
Yeah, it's called The Little Shop. He's like, "This is where I bought my first Warhammer. I've been talking with Amazon. We know what we want to do. We're gonna do it. Big things are coming. Blah blah blah. Warhammer's on its way."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Dude, because the people that are at that shop are probably not the grandparents that would have started it
Oh yeah, no.
25 years ago or whatever, right? They're different. Like, can you imagine if Henry Cavill walked in and like met Dave
Oh my
at
God.
the Fun Factory? It'd be like Dave probably wouldn't know who he is, wouldn't care, or
Yep.
it'd be like he's just not there. Now you're going and you're getting the other guy. I can't fucking think of his name right now. I pulled it out of my brain.
You know, I don't have it.
Ah, really?
I'm gonna.
Lee.
Oh yes.
It'd be like
I
going
did
in
know
and
that, actually,
now
but-
Lee's there.
Yeah.
And now Lee's gonna geek out and you're like, I don't fucking know you, man. Like
Right.
I came to see somebody or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But I
Still cool.
I hope that it's cool. And also in the photo there's people just walking away behind him. I'm like, those people just crossed Henry. I'd be like, what the
Henry Cavill
fuck?
taking a selfie too. It's not
Yeah.
like another celebrity thing I saw recently. Have you seen the blow up of the actors who played Fred and George in Harry Potter? They're like everywhere now. I don't know what happened in the last.
They have their own company, right? Of doing something. They're
I don't know, but in the last like month and a half or whatever, they're just everywhere. They've got their own cooking show that's like magic cooking
That's
or
what it was.
something.
It was the cooking show.
They started doing like more interviews. I don't know what
that's
happened.
all I know. I saw them nowhere else but an ad for that cooking.
They did
show.
an interview where it was like never have I ever, and they read something, and then if you have done it, they eat candy. Maybe it's something to do with like their baking show still. But the what question was. Went incognito to a Harry Potter park, and one of them made it, and the other one's like, "Oh, I've never gone incognito. I've just gone as myself." And they're like, "Rubbish." He's like, "No, I've got a story for that." Is I was walking down Hogsmeade, and a girl was coming the other way, and I could see in her eyes she did one of, like she knew who I was, and so I just looked at her and goes, "But no one's ever gonna believe you," and I just kept walking. I was like, "That would be so good."
Dude, it's the Robin Williams. Or no, not Robin Williams. Bill Murray.
Yes, the Bill Murray.
Bill Murray did it. That is stealing people's food off
Exactly.
their trays. No one's gonna believe you.
Exactly. It's like that's level of frame that it's like, oh, that's kind of scary, but it's also like I wish I could have just one of those little moments like that with somebody that it matters to be like, no, and then just walk.
Well,
But I would be like, oh, thank God you know me. That's cool. Thanks. Hey, shake hands, yada, yada. But to be at that level to where the thing that you're a part of is a theme park and you're just a tiny piece of it, but a big enough piece where people care, that's kind of cool.
People, there's also a world where, because he probably looked different enough and everything.
Yeah, he's got the longer hair and it's not like bright red
He's
anymore.
An
Just an older guy,
too,
yeah.
right? And they might have just been like, nah, that's just an actor. That's just a guy who looks like him. That's the character.
Right.
But then you're like, I don't know.
See,
you're like,
I
oh,
would also, because I would also take it to the next level where if I was him, I would have the robes on. I'd be walking through the park because then it's like everyone's gonna be like, he just looks like him. He's just a cosplayer or something, because there's the people that look like Benedict Cumberbatch as Stephen Strange, and their whole account is I'm Doctor Strange, but
the
look
Iron
alike.
Man
yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I would just put it up to the nth degree so no one would believe it, but that would be really funny. And also, I didn't have that moment, but I did when I was at NAIC for Pokemon, and I saw Azul GG walking this way, and I looked, and there was a moment where he went to go, like he knew I was going to say something, but I didn't because I wasn't confident enough, and I looked away, and I'm sure he went, and then just kept walking and didn't care, and then I turned and went, oh shit, I was right. I saw him say something. I can't go get him now. That's weird. But I had that moment. That's pretty cool. It's fun.
It's funny that you'll be at a MagicCon in Chicago, and that is going to happen. But you're gonna just be.
Oh, with other people?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to study. That's why I also asked about the shirt stuff because I was like, well, I need to get shirts. I want magic shirts.
Oh, shirts! I want to go. Like merch shirts.
Yeah, merch shirts. I want to go. I want to study. I want to be part of it. I want to go into the world like a researcher.
Not today. Then you asked about shirts a long time ago, right? You meant like magic, as in like.
Well, I asked about the sponsorship thing, and I was like, did that ever happen? Because then I could get a shirt.
That thing. Well, he sells them at the con.
Right. I was trying.
And also, it's not licensed in that way.
Right, but it's just enough to where it's like I'm one of you.
You want a T-shirt that says I'm one of you?
I want to incognito in.
I promise you that there's going to be a lot of people there that are just wearing normie clothes.
Right.
Too many.
Too many?
Too many people that aren't part of it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, you're here. You're buying singles. But you look like someone who's like, they're buying singles to go grind a fucking tournament. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not doing this for fun. You're doing this for the business.
Right.
You're doing it for the grind and the whatever. I'm like, nah, dude.
I also thought about just getting a shirt that said crew, like film crew. But then I was like, are people going to think I work for the con?
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe I don't want a crew shirt. Because in my head, I was like, crew to me means like production. So it's like that would be fun if people know us from the worst possible show and get crew shirts.
We should do that.
But I don't want people going, hey, where's the bathrooms? And I go, I don't know. I don't work here. Well, I'm
going to have to pee. I know there's one over there.
That's fair. I guess it's like, oh, when does this line start? Or when does this, like, I don't want to give people too many.
Those people, they're like, because they work for the convention center.
That's true.
They don't work for.
They also probably don't have shirts.
There is a crew that does the video crew and everything works for Magic, so they actually do travel. I caught one of them on a smoke break talking about, I was just in Amsterdam fucking 6 months ago doing this. Now I'm here in Vegas doing it. And he had the yellow. Their crew shirts are yellow.
Okay, so
or at least it was.
If we get the classic black, just white crew on the back, maybe like a worst possible cloud or something on the chest.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Maybe that's where we unveil the rebrand.
Oh, we got to get working on that.
We got to get working on it. It's in February. We got time. Late February.
It's funny because when I was on Real Steel, it's funny how you're in a movie set doing this movie, the big thing. Anything anybody working on the movie wants to talk about or ends up talking about is what else they've done. It's not like, hey, isn't this cool? Like, we're making this movie about fighting robots.
Yeah,
it's like
they'll only talk about it at the next production.
Right.
Yeah.
It's this one I'm talking to. I think it was the guy who was one of the robots that essentially they would CG him in, but whatever.
Sure.
But he's talking about, it's like, man, I really hope this doesn't go late because I want to get back because I'm the main stuntman for Chuck, the TV show. And I don't want them to give my spot away because that's a consistent paycheck where a movie's like a one-time thing and done.
Yeah.
And I went like, but you're in a movie. You're the robot. You're the face character of this movie. Like, no one knows.
Like, I gotta fucking work.
I know.
Like, I don't care.
It was like one of those moments. I went, oh, it's not all magic and good moments. Oh no,
these are employees.
These guys are struggling. They're trying to make it all happen. Speaking of struggling, did you see the actor that played Loki, the Kid Loki?
Kid Loki from
the show.
The show. No, I don't know anything about that.
He was. I think he was after the show ended. I think he just posted somewhere that he's like homeless because his parents were like being abusive and stuff. So he just like left home and he didn't have any of his own money because when he did the movie, he was a minor, so it's like not his money. So he was just living homeless.
show, yeah.
Since then, he's been helped, and people were able to find him and help him get to safe places and stuff like that.
That's child acting, baby.
But it's just funny that it's like, because child acting is usually you see them in Home Alone or something, like kid actors that do a bunch of different things.
Funny one to bring up.
And then later on, you see their lives go in crazy directions. Like Jake Lloyd is like, he was a kid actor, did a couple things, and then all of a sudden it's just like it all falls apart years later. Loki was just like 3 years ago. Like it was so short a time span.
Yeah, when I was at when I went to Motor City Nightmares, they did a Cujo reunion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, kind of. They did Dee Wallace and her kids, and it was Henry Thomas from all the Mike Flanagan things, who was the kid in E.T.
Mm-hmm.
It was the kid from Cujo. Honestly, I don't remember the third, like what movie it was, because I was just like, holy shit, Henry Thomas. But it was funny because the kid from Cujo, he was like, it was really cool I got invited to this because he's like, I'm just a waiter in Austin.
Oh, yeah, because he's
like, I don't act. Like,
Yeah.
I would like to act again. So maybe, he's like, I actually just submitted my first audition, 2 weeks ago at the time. Because he's like, I think I want to get back into it. But he's a 30-year-old man. He's like, I just work as a waiter.
Yeah.
It's so funny that all these people are like in a conference room listening to him talk. But he's like, I got nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
I can't remember the set. I was 3. I
That's
was
what I'm
5 or whatever.
All
and
those like really young actors that never did anything else. You think we could like pretend to be like pick a movie that's kind of obscure enough that's got a young kid actor that's never done anything else and be like, hey, let's sign up for a con and like you're that kid grown up and just pretend to be that kid the whole time.
my
Because
God, that sounds terrible.
How many times do you see like online? It's like, oh, remember this kid from this movie? This is what he looks like now, and it's not
it's
even the
not.
same person.
Yeah.
But do that like as a con, almost like a reality show. Like let's see if we can get away with this idea. I think that would be really funny.
Well, of course
not that,
you can.
Not that we want to do it, but I would
You wanna
watch a
see it
TV
done.
show and somebody do that.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun. See how many people.
Identity fraud.
Yeah. But it's because it's on a
Light
TV show.
fraud.
Because it's on a TV show, it's okay because they got everyone to sign off and everybody.
And there we go. We'll get the sign off.
Exactly.
We talked to
Exactly.
legal.
We get our legal team on
legal
it.
covered it.
That are the office is right next to our HR office. Anyway,
In the land of make believe.
in the land of make believe, we usually start off the show with housekeeping about and then we talk about what we watched.
Dude, I saw because we're like 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
now, I saw something, just a tweet that said, quote, or it was asterisk 40 minutes into the podcast, quote, let's dive right in.
Let's dive right in. Yes.
And it was just like, that was it.
All right, let's go ahead and get started now. Or
Yeah.
So what are we
just,
talking
let's
about
dive
today?
right
Yeah.
in. So good. We're looking for our.
So I think.
Oh, Derek texted me about a gift thing. I gotta.
Oh, I forgot to add one, but I have 3 movies, and then I've also watched a lot of TV show, which I want to get into, Friday Night Lights, and I've watched One Piece. And
You're like, what's that? What's that one show?
No, there's another one that I can't remember now because I think I started another anime.
Okay.
But anyway, Sveel. Oh no,
What up, Svi- Oh,
I don't have water. I forgot about that. I added a thing to drink water. We're out of water.
shit, we are on the same channel. Hey, that logo looks great, by the way.
Doesn't that look great?
I did notice it. I just forgot because I wanted to say it to Sveel.
Sveel knocked
So
it
now
out of the
Sveel's
park.
here. Yeah, that logo's the wrong word. That icon.
The icon looks great.
The real pixel coinage.
Sveel, I owe you a drink of
fantastic.
water. I don't have. I don't think we literally have any, right? I mean, we have a faucet.
No, wait.
Cold.
Wow, what a sweet boy. He's going and filling it in our bathroom faucet. It's crazy, dude. I literally just pissed in that sink. No, just kidding. I wanted to wait for him to take the sip.
Why did you do it? Why did you do it while I was?
I was waiting. I had to wait.
God, that was funny. There you go, Sveel. I got some water for you. And I'm also drinking a Ghost Energy drink because it's going to be a busy day. I'm going to try to get a lot done today, so I don't have a lot to do tomorrow besides kick butt in Marvel Rivals.
Butt kicking time.
Who
Who are you going to kick butt as?
Probably Namor. I think Namor is just who I'm...
That's why I watch with headphones.
What up, Tron?
the audio experience peak.
Namor is the one I can consistently be good with. So if we're going to do competitive, I can be Namor and be good. Now, I can have good moments.
The thing I haven't
with magic,
done yet
but
is because I've gone the gamut. I think I'm besides a couple of Rocket Raccoon, like I get dove on and I forget that I can just fucking shift into the sky
Yeah.
and fly away.
Or run up walls, or just really the traversal with
Yeah,
him
I
is
don't
great.
really I'm not tight enough to walls that it would be fast enough. I could maybe shoot to one.
Shoot to a wall and crawl.
But
yeah.
it's I've done everything but Jeff. I'm comfy with.
Okay.
Maybe not Adam Warlock because I actually just don't like him. He doesn't heal enough. He has only heal abilities. He's an off healer, right? But I need to, before we do any ranked, I need to do Jeff. If he's that broken, I need to just learn.
I think if we are on a team where the other DPSs and tanks are putting out enough damage where we just need someone to dive in and finish, I can be Magic. But if anyone else isn't putting out the damage, I know Namor, I can just throw damage out and everyone just has to ping the last little hits.
Sure. Which
Or
I do great with Luna.
yeah.
I focus a lot of the
Or if we don't want to dive as hard as with Magic, I'm also pretty good with Hela or Psylocke, because their kits and stuff are pretty easy to shoot with, and then their extra abilities are just a little bit extra damage. It's not too much.
Sure.
And I like Psylocke's dash now that I know that it hurts people. When I first did, I was like,
Can't believe
man.
you did. Yeah, it's the finisher. It's
Well,
you're low.
Here's the funny thing is Alex like, oh, it's funny. She had because he doesn't know any of the characters. He's like, she has a samurai sword. It's weird she doesn't use it. And I was like, oh yeah. And I didn't say anything. I just was playing. And later on I was using her. I dashed and I hit somebody. I went, oh, by the way, like her sword comes out when you dash. That's when he's like,
And her ult.
oh yeah, in the ult. But then he went back and played her and he's like, oh, I get it now. And I was like, I had the same thing. I didn't think about it. But yeah, it makes sense that you dash. But anyway.
I guess I wouldn't have thought of it, except for Genji. I just know.
Yeah.
I understand Genji's kit. Can't play it, but I'm well aware.
So did you look and see what movies you watched?
Yeah.
How many have you watched?
Oh, how many? Well, it's
Just 'cause
interesting because
been
it's the
2
2
weeks.
weeks. I don't think we didn't mention Thanksgiving. Did we talk about 30 Days a Night? Yeah, because we talked about Wicked and stuff too. But I'm just looking at because it was the 26th was the last time we streamed. So I normally go, okay, 26th forward.
Right.
But the 24th we had Thanksgiving. I don't remember talking about that.
Thanks, Phil. Good clip.
Whoops. Thanksgiving got my heart. It was enough like the trailer that I was like, oh, that's fun. It's homages. It was quite the long intro, all Black Friday related.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I can see why Black Friday is the like instigating problem area because it's not about Thanksgiving anymore.
Right.
But anyway.
It was a Black Friday intro that was like, this is probably 5 to 10 years too late. But
Way more than that.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. As someone who's done Black Friday for, I think I said this was my 15th
Okay.
year. I don't remember ever having any stores like that, period. Like PlayStation 3 coming out is like that time period is what I think of.
I feel like that was
almost 20 years ago.
That was a Black Friday that was ramped to extremes and the anger
that's
and
the ones
stuff.
I can think of the products that were like worth it and stuff where people were
Right.
looking the Turbo Man effect,
But
you know.
But I think of the unlock the door, everyone claps and rushes in on Black Friday, which was still that long ago.
They
knew what to expect,
because
but-
2014, I remember Black Friday 2014 because I was FU, I worked at Black Friday. 2014, there was a Black Friday deal that was coming out.
Yep.
That somebody didn't want to get. That was the first time I ever went for somebody for something.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember what I listened to. I listened to a Nerdist podcast that interviewed Stan Lee.
Okay.
My toes almost froze. I ran the soup kitchen style thing that we did, the community meals is what it's called. I ran that, and then I went and waited in this line. I got the TV. That's when they handed me a ticket. That was 10 years ago. They handed me a ticket. So what was the year before that? But it was like at least 10 years that they've been handing out tickets.
But anyway, it was a little out of date.
It felt, it was way off. It felt wrong.
Black Friday is nothing compared to what it was. I remember going as a kid in the 90s, and I worked them in the 2000s, says Tron. Yeah, I didn't work I worked Black Fridays in the 2000s, but like the 2010s, 2020s.
I mean, like I said, this was my 15th year, so I guess 2009 was the first time I even went to a Black Friday because my family just didn't participate. Just not even a little bit.
And then you saw the light, and you're like, oh. My people.
Well, I was like, oh, shopping. Go well, because that was when malls were also a little different.
Oh, yeah.
Malls were different. And it was the first time I was like, actually, I got to text Nana about this because nobody wanted to take me. But Nana's like, I wake up at fucking 4 a.m. anyway. I'll drive you.
Yeah.
So I drove me and friends that were willing to go. And then the local, like, Today's Hits radio was there with speakers in the
Parking lot?
No, in the food court.
Oh, in the mall.
And
Yeah.
you would go in, and they had coupons to all the different stores.
The
that
one
you
with
would,
the
like,
carousel,
go up
or
and
is it the old mall?
Carousel?
Is the carousel one?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Well, no, that old mall was like in the 90s.
Gotcha. Okay.
It stopped being the mall. Yeah, so you would go and you'd get all the coupons, and then you could go to all the stores, and everything was hopping. It was awesome at 5 a.m. at that Black Friday. But it didn't have quite the same knock down the door, because you would knock down the door to go to a room of doors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same kind of thing.
I mean, I remember the Black Fridays at Best Buy where we had the balloons, and it's like, you go to this balloon, you stand in line. You have this ticket, go to the balloon. It's like, that's all it was.
Well, I was in charge of some of those balloons. I was in charge of handing out Xbox Live to people. I was I ran a lot of that too. So
I was in charge
there.
of people yelling at me on the headset to grab something and put it on the floor, and me going back and grabbing it and putting it on the floor.
I remember.
That's what I was in
remember.
charge of. I missed midnight of Halo 2. That was before my midnight times. I'm pretty sure I did 3.
I did. I didn't
trying to remember.
have an Xbox at that time.
I know I
was
did.
a PlayStation kid. I did get Halo 2. I played Halo 2 when it came out, like the week it came out, but it was at a friend's because, again, PlayStation kid.
Yeah, I think I did Halo 3. I know I did Halo Reach because I still have the 360 special Halo Reach edition that I got that midnight, and I didn't do Gears of War midnight, but I did it day 1.
I don't think I did video. I ran video games midnight at Best Buy, but I don't think I ever bought a video game at midnight
Oh, really?
until the Halo 5 story. No, Halo Master Chief Collection I did.
Yeah.
Because then the next year was Halo 5. So it's funny, it was for Halo as well.
Yeah.
But you know how my Halo 5 experience went.
Yeah, I remember.
I did do the midnight for the Xbox One, like for the console.
One of my most heartbreaking moments is, I think, Halo Wars. I went to do a midnight release only because if you bought I think the big edition of Halo Wars, you got the map pack for one of the Halo games. I can't remember now. I'm blanking. But me and Alec were going to go at midnight, and I found out that I pre-ordered at like the wrong GameStop. Like, I think I called the GameStop, and I called the one in the mall that wasn't open at midnight. And I went to the GameStop that's outside the mall, and they're like, "We don't have your pre-order." And I was like, "Well, what do you mean? I did the pre-order." And I looked it up, and they're like, "Oh, you did at the other one." I was like, "Well, are they open?" They're like, "No." And I was like, "Well, can I buy one here?" They're like, "No, we're sold out." And I went,
Oh.
So then it was literally drive home, sleep, get up early, go grab it, and then play. But it was
I had that
ugh.
happen once. I had that with Modern Warfare 2. Same thing. I did the GameStop in our mall, but there was a GameStop here in the Cherryland Center that was open at midnight, but the mall wasn't open at midnight, so we can't open the door. And I remember, it was like, okay, I went to school the next day because games released on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Went to school the next day, and it was there when I got home, and I was like, fuck, dude, like I'm dying.
Yes. I was looking for an OLED Switch, but oh my god,
No
there's
great
a
deals or
feather.
bundles?
Thank you. There's
Like you were
something right
looking
there.
this Black Friday? Because the OLED Switch, they only would have had this one and last one, right? OLED Switch would have a good deal, you'd think, but they haven't announced the next Switch. So it's
Right.
like, no, we're still full
We're
price.
still. This is the.
And Switches, they've never really had good deals. They had $50 off, I remember, was a deal that we had run. And they had the one that was full price, but it came with, like normal price, I should say, but it came with Mario Kart.
Yep.
Those were the like two deals that existed. Console deals are never that good because they're already at cost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can't really save too much.
The consoles
It was
are tough.
buy a console, get a $50 game for free, up to a $50 game. Or it was here's $50 off, or get an extra controller for free or something. But it was never really that good a deal.
Right.
Would you say
Rule
Halo
4.
2 is pinnacle Halo?
2 and 3.
2 and 3?
2 and 3.
For
like,
different reasons.
For
you
2
think, right?
to 3, like 2 and 3, I think just Halo was the pinnacle of
Well, you know, it's funny.
multiplayer gaming
It's
and
I
campaign.
think 3 because that maybe it was the timing, maybe it was the proliferation of live that was everywhere at that point. It felt more available to people. It was on the system that I know most people had, and they like supported it longer, it had expansions that were downloadable, right? Halo 2 didn't. There was nothing because there was no marketplace, right? No live marketplace, I mean to say.
I think Halo 2 did have extra maps, but only on the PC version. Or was that just CE?
I don't think it had a
just
PC version, right? I think CE was
It might have just been CE.
Well, so there one
of
the other
Halo
things
2 did have a map pack though.
Halo
like
3
a disc you go buy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, the thing that Halo 3 did have was it had the like merch coverage.
Yes.
That was like, oh, you're with Mountain Dew now. Oh, there's special editions. Oh, you made a whole console about it. Like you made the Slim or whatever that had the Halo 3 edition. Like it was just like, I can buy Halo 3 40 different ways. I've only ever seen one Halo 2. Or like, here's the remastered or, like those kinds of editions, but they didn't have and it was just, it was the same disc. It didn't do anything different.
I have, from Halo 3 launch time, not like launch day or whatever, I still have my shoulder Messenger Halo 3 branded bag and my plastic controller case that's a Spanker rocket ammo thing. I still have those two. That's from Halo 3. Like, so old now, but I think 2...
There's a lack of course, with the first Halo, they're not risking it.
Right.
But there's a lack of Halo 2 like merch.
I think Halo 2 was coming out and the midnight, the hype, all that stuff, I think shocked everybody.
And they're like, oh.
And then 3 came on, they're like, we're ready this time.
Yeah.
So it went smoother, but the game didn't come out and be like, oh, it's not as good. It still rocked. I think that's the thing is the fact that Halo 1, 2, and 3 are all great games, and it's like very little complaints across all 3 is crazy. And the trailers for those games, the Halo 3 trailer where there's the kids sitting in the reeds and they're looking at each other and a grenade goes off and it switches to the helmet and he puts back on the helmet and you see the bubble shield. Oh.
The Halo 4 trailer was also really good.
The Halo 4 trailer.
That's the one, if I remember. He's in the desert and you see the big giant. You see the
thing,
with
like the cloak?
The cloak and the fucking cloak.
Yeah.
Like it's just that little. I was like, I mean, then you got to wait like 4 years for it, right? I remember it being like, this trailer came out a decade ago. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, all the Halo trailers have always been good. You got the Halo 3 had the live action trailer that we always compare everything to. And
oh yeah, my favorite though is the Master Chief Collection.
The trailer for it?
Yeah, where it's the Arbiter talking the whole time. If I remember, I think it's the Arbiter.
Oh man, I'm trying to think.
And it's just a big fucking montage of all your favorite moments. And then it says the seeds of our future are sown in his past, and I'm like, dude, and it just shows as like what I'm like, oh, I'm getting chills thinking about it, dude. It's his
Halo's
voice.
So cool.
It's that voice of the seeds of our future.
Yeah,
I'm just like, oh.
It's kind of crazy because I mean I still have a long way to go.
Watch it after this.
I got a long way to go in Halo Infinite's leveling because it just takes so long to level.
Well, if you have a long way to go now, damn, bro.
It's exponential. That's a problem.
Because I was at TC Paintball, bought some singles, whatever, and then they had a Last of Us board game that came out.
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
I was like, how have I not heard of this?
Yeah,
it's just a fully licensed board game. Picked up the box. I'm looking at it. Is this co-op? I don't know. And he's like, I don't know. He picks up the box. I'm like, listen, I'm not that kind of guy. I'll read the box.
Right.
I don't need you to read the box to me like many people I know need. I'm reading it, and I read the whole thing. I'm like, is this co-op? Like, do you know anything about it? And he just picks up I'm like, listen, I read the box.
Yeah.
But he's like, I don't know. I was like, dude, when did this come out? He's like, oh, he got it this week. It was this, and this came out. And he just points to Halo. And I was like, oh, shit. The Halo game's here, too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my God, what a busy time.
Oh.
And now I'm just like, I already ordered Brent's gift, but, like, I got to get this, right? But I was like, do you have any base copies? And he puts one up, and he's like, I'm holding this for someone. I was like, who is it? Let me call him. But... So I wasn't able to get it. But I was like, I talk about Brent. I talk about him playing miniatures. He loves Halo. And he's like, oh, dude, I know we sold out a lot of people. I was like, no, listen. And I'm like, how do I put this into like where you can feel the gravity?
Yeah.
And I was like, there's like 500 people that hit this certain number in Halo. He reached his Onyx and everything. And the guy's like, wow. I was like, no, he's got his tattoo. He just didn't give a fuck. And I'm like, listen, bro. I tried.
But if I get that high rank in Halo Infinite, I think I literally have run out of things because I've 100% Master Chief Collection, Halo 5, 151. I what?
You own the store.
Own the store.
Everything
in the store. They did add new. That was the thing. I forgot. You reminded me. It didn't. Your Siri, but here it is.
It's in an hour.
Here's the problem. Okay. Here's why I'm angry at Halo.
Brent yesterday told me to remind him of something Halo related. He like whispered it to me while we were filming. Hey, remind me to tell you about the Halo thing.
I love Halo. And I've given a lot to Halo, a lot of money and a lot of time.
You opened your phone and there was a skin there. And you're like, remind me to fucking, I got to scream about this into the sky.
And 343, a lot of people think they've made a lot of missteps. I loved Halo 5. I like a lot of stuff they're doing, blah, 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 all that stuff.
Sure.
I bought, and I have run since day one, the Nerf gun skin for the assault rifle. I have the Nerf gun. I paid real money for a physical gun for a digital version of the gun in the game.
Mm-hmm.
The most recent update put that skin in the shop for people just to buy. No. No. What are you talking about? Like,
oh wow, it really was completely unrelated to your post. It just sparked.
It just sparked it because I saw the skin.
No, I'm pissed at these people.
Yeah, because I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
I was like, "Man, I could have swore it was a Christmas skin."
This is like, I'm like, I get having skins available for people, bringing back old skins if you weren't there day one or whatever. But this was like a specific partnership with Nerf that I had to go. I couldn't get any other way besides going to a store, buying a physical Nerf product, and getting that skin in the game.
I'm Mr. Developer, yeah. Here's what I tell you. Well, now you own the gun. You own the Nerf gun. They don't have a Nerf gun.
I know, but that's not the point.
I don't want the fucking Nerf gun.
It's. I was so angry when I saw that because, of course, it's in the store, and I'm like, "What's new?" Because there's a couple things that they bring out new, but I'm like, "Here's the credits. Buy, cool." And I saw that, and I went, "Of course, I already own it." You can't just put there's certain things that should be held separate. It's like if they fucking go, "Oh, that 150." My Halo 5 skin I got for grinding all those levels. If they put that in the store, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like the same. It's not the same level because that Halo 5 skin took me a lot longer to get, a lot more money, really. But this, I was so angry, and I was just like, and it was sucks for me because I'm like, is this like a changing? Like 343 is no longer 343. It's Halo Studios. Heads are changing. Different people are in charge, and they're like, cool. All the old stuff that we have. Let's just try to get it into people's hands, and get money into our pockets so we can do the next thing. I could see that being the thought process, but it's like, guys, I gave you the money. I'll give Halo the money.
You gave Nerf the money, really?
There's just probably some money went that way. Somewhere.
That already was paid.
Well, either way,
they're like, hey, give us we're going to pay you a Billy for the.
But I'm just like, I was so distraught by this that I'm like, guys, I'm the guy that you will get money from. I spent so much money on Monster to get double XP in a game that I can't even use the double XP in, really. I mean, I can right now, but I've just earned so whatever.
Yeah.
It broke my heart a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I felt betrayed.
Yeah, it's also surprising that they're just like, hey, here's an old thing in the shop. Only because, there's some games like I'll say Overwatch, I'll say League of Legends, where it's like this game is so involved that a skin or maybe even Valorant, maybe a skin is so involved or the game is so involved that a skin can actually change something.
Mm-hmm.
Flip side of that, Call of Duty, they are that game. They just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you've seen, but they're like, if you were to really boil this game down, Call of Duty I'm speaking on, you could argue there's a pay to win here.
Right.
Let me show you why. And you watch all the videos, and there's people that are like, if you buy Black Noir from The Boys, he's just dressed in all black.
Yeah.
That's his whole thing. If you get him, you are in this spot of the map, you're invisible. Because you don't have a texture. Like, you just can't be seen. And then there was another pack where there's a finisher or something that is like a dog attack. But something about the way you're able to do it lets you, like, Destiny, they call it 3-peeking because it's you pull out your sword, which is your 3 on your keyboard.
Oh, okay.
And you pull out your sword to go to third person, and you can peek over the corner while just holding a sword because of the way the skin pulls you out,
Yeah.
And it was like, so you can use these tools to, like, actually win the game, to peek around corners that you're not physically seeing in and whatever. So sometimes making skins is hard.
Right.
VFX are tied to abilities with League of Legends, things like that. Or if you make a skin where the character is just a physically different shape, well, what about their hitbox? I think about characters that, like, this character is now given a tail. And I'm like, can I be seen around corners? Can I be whatever?
Can I get shot in the Yeah.
But in a game where you're like, to talk about Halo, where it's still a shooter, these things still matter. They're not doing as many licensed things. but you're wearing fucking armor.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't the skins better?
There are
There are good ones.
There are good ones.
I can't. There's really not many games where I can point and be like, this game has nothing good.
Mm-hmm.
Like even New World, I think has some of the ugliest shit I've ever seen in a game that's fully just role play, and the PvP is not that big a deal. It's 60 player. Who cares?
Yeah.
And it's not precise. And now you have lock on abilities and shit that's like you don't even have to see someone. You click the lock on button, it's just gonna lock to them. But I'm like, why is there nothing good here? Why can't I like? Diablo has great skins, and you can't even see it because you're a micron on the screen. You know what I mean? But I think of the Mythic Quest episode where Ashley Birch is now like doing money stuff. And she, let's release this holiday skin, and the dollar signs come pouring in because it's just like, oh, here's a $20 skin.
Yeah.
It is the future. Skins are now priced at $20 for whatever reason. I can't understand why you can't just make the dopest skin fucking imaginable. Give me the craziest VFX. Give me whatever. Like I think Overwatch has good skins. I think Marvel is already doing a great job with their skins. Their animation style, Marvel Rivals.
Yeah.
The animation style lends to it. Diablo, like I said, because their thing is all shiny brass metal, over the top, high fantasy. You know.
Mm-hmm. I think the big thing for skins. One, real quick, the store where they put the Nerf thing is. The whole idea is to release old things. Like I do weekly challenges to get the weekly reward every month or every week. Now it's just credits that I use in the store to have the opportunity to buy stuff that I earned 2 years ago from the weekly challenges. So it is all old stuff.
And you have so many credits because you don't need to buy any of them because you've already earned
I've already earned them.
Occasionally something new comes through.
Exactly.
And they go, hey, we're going to, for the people who still do the weeklies, who still want something new, here's the shop, here's a new thing, and then a swath of old shit.
Correct. So, but I think the big problem with Halo Infinite and Halo Master Chief Collection, they both started to go in the direction with cool skins and with blah, 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 blah. But I think 343 and why they're doing Halo Studios now and why they're changing to the Unreal Engine, I think they just kept running into walls for some, I don't know the technical reason, because they put their toes in. Master Chief Collection, you can have like fur collars and be like all like Nordic, and you can have like
when I think of
cool
what's
knight
the
armors
game with
and
the first cool skins, it's recon armor doesn't look good, I don't think.
Right.
But it was cool to see. Hayabusa armor was the one that I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
this is pinnacle skin. Like,
Yeah.
this is legendary.
So it's like they
levels
were
of skin.
going that route, but for some reason didn't. The big thing for me in Halo Infinite is the second battle pass. I think the second 100 level battle pass thing is I think once you got to the end of it, you got a new little, I forget what they call them, the little digital icons. Why I don't remember what they're called is because they kind of gave up on it, but there's like a little digital dude. When you're capturing a zone, your little buddy will show up.
Yeah, I remember. As someone who, because I played week 1, week 2, whatever, it was there's a little orb, holographic looking dude.
And it had a couple different shapes, and you could assign voices to it.
Yep.
And then they had the banished one come out, which was like almost like the evil mask from Crash Bandicoot, like super spiky red, blah, 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 blah.
Nice.
And I was like, so this is going to be something I earn. I can earn a bunch of these. That was the last one they did. There has not been another one since that I've noticed. And I'm in the shop, I would notice, unless one snuck by me because there was a time where I got busy with the store and I just didn't notice it in the shop. But it hasn't been in any of the battle passes because I finished all the battle passes. So it's like that was a route they were doing and then just kind of let go. And I thought because you could have different voices, they'd have voice actors come in. Like in Master Chief Collection, my multiplayer voice is Nathan Fillion because he plays Buck. Like it's like I can have Buck in my voice. It's great. They didn't do any of that in Halo Infinite. It's like they had all these plans.
Call of Duty did that,
and it just
too.
kind of
You
went away.
remember They had, I think they had Sam Jackson do one or something. Like, no, that was like Alexa. You could have.
Oh,
you remember
yeah.
that? You could have an Alexa voice that was.
I know Waze, the direction app. I have Dexter, a voice that can direct me in Waze, and I have Master Chief because they just released that.
I definitely thought.
I don't ever
my
use
first
Waze.
thought went to Laboratory.
Laboratory.
And I was like, man, that sounds like a terrible voice.
No, not that one.
But left.
But it's like, hey, turn left. Sometimes my dark passenger gives me directions as well. Like they just add in like little flavor.
silly, dude.
So
So
silly,
silly.
but it's kind of fun.
Yeah, no, that's
But
fun.
anyway, so I think there was a lot of things they wanted to do with Infinite and 5, and for some reason it just doesn't pan out. That's why I'm really hoping that they kind of go all out with the next one, almost as if like if it doesn't work out, maybe it just won't, unfortunately. Because
Halo or
because right now Halo Infinite's great. I love playing it, but there's so many unfinished tracks of things that I'm like, I once I finish this leveling thing, there's nothing left for me to do because you haven't given me anything new to do.
Yeah.
Which I get if you're prepping the next thing, cool. But I still need a reason to play this game until that next thing comes out. So the next thing better have a million things to do because I'm gonna play 60 hours just nonstop. And if I run out of shit to do, it's gonna feel like the last 3 years or 4 years or whatever it was of Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried about that, but I'm hoping with all the changes.
It feels weird though, because those kinds of hopes for me always feel empty.
Yeah.
I'm like, they never seem to pan out. They never seem to work. I'm like, man, it almost seems too obvious, right? That this, like, one thing, looking at it, there's a lot of battle passes. I've talked about how that's what I want a game for now. It's like an achievement list built in its own where I don't have to actually do anything but just keep playing. And all of a sudden, I'll get a pass.
We got done filming last night. I almost just got on Marvel Rivals, so let me just knock out those things. I was like, I'll play tomorrow, or I'll play the next. It's fine.
I didn't play this morning. I didn't play last night.
I don't need to, but I got home being like, maybe I should. And I was like, no, just go to sleep, get up early, go to the gym, do your normal thing. They'll be there in 2 days when you play all day.
Yeah, well, and they take a day or whatever to refresh. And I don't know. But there's things that I'm just like, why do they still put these in passes? Like, why are sprays I'm just like,
sprays are a crazy thing.
There's 3 sprays a page and 1 emote every 2 pages. And I'm like, I get it. Emotes are harder to make than sprays. And at the pass, they're all worth the same amount, like to their sort of dollar bill, right? Mm-hmm. So why spend more money and resources and time and effort on an animation when you could just make a cool 2D art piece that's only ever 2D and it just gets plastered onto a wall? That's it. Done. But I'm also like, you could just put it 3D and make it a gun buddy. Or a weapon charm, depending on the game you play.
or to be fair, like if the battle pass is 100 levels and 60 of those levels are sprays, why don't you just make a 50 level battle pass that only have things that matter and it just takes the same amount of time? What was the last game you bought and felt like it lived up to the hype?
Well, it's funny with Game Pass. Don't buy many games now. Early access things. A lot of things are free to play. A lot of whatever.
I mean, I've put a lot of time into Halo Infinite to get to the point. I've had a lot of time with Halo Infinite to get to the point where I feel like I don't have much left to do in it. So obviously, I bought that game. It lived up to the hype for me. I still play it every week. I love it. But that was a long time ago now. So the last actual game that I bought and it lived up to the hype. Let me think about this. Man, what's the last game that I bought? Because a lot of my games I get as gifts. Stokes buys me a lot of games. Actually, I think if I had to pick one, it's probably Pokemon Scarlet. The group of us ended up buying 5 or 6 copies of that game. Me, Alec, M, Bethany, and Stokes. 5 copies of that game. And we all played it, I think, to completion without not finishing the Pokedex, but finishing like all the gyms and all that stuff. And did that, and I loved every minute of it. I didn't go back and finish Pokedex. I haven't done the DLC just because I haven't gone back. But that's probably the last game that I bought and really liked.
What was it?
Pokemon Scarlet. Because I was like, everyone bought one.
That was fall 22.
Well, I can't remember any game that I bought since. Fuck it, I lied. Alan Wake 2. I forgot that I bought Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
I'd like in my head, Alan Wake 2 isn't a buy. It's just.
It's a necessity.
It's gonna go. Yeah, it's like water. I need to drink water to survive.
Like water.
Alan Wake 2 would be the last one, 100%. And now that both DLCs are out, I'm gonna get on that too. But
a good one.
It's Alan Wake 2, 100,000%.
About the Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred, I really enjoyed my $40 or whatever in that.
Mm-hmm.
That's an expansion. So I don't know if that counts as much.
There's also littler things like I paid for content warning, and every time I've turned that game on and played with Alec, I've had a ton of fun. But it was $12.
That's good.
Like
that's a good call.
I don't know if that it's not really an investment, or I'm trying to think. I haven't yet to play it, but I'm thinking it's going to be a lot of fun. I bought Lockdown Protocol to play with everyone on stream, and have yet to do that, but I'm really excited too, and I'm sure it'll be great.
I'm going through my. These by recent played. I think they are. Path of Exile 2. I just started, but I've been having fun with that. That was $30. So I don't know. That might be one. I've enjoyed Dredge. That was a good one. It's an indie game. It's up here because I played it recently, but I did fully complete it. House Flipper 2 was worth every fucking penny.
There you go.
I seriously love that game so much. Space Marine. That was bought for us. I'd say that's probably the most recent.
I have not finished it, so I don't know if
Yeah.
it really counts, but I bought Nico Derico for me and Bethany to play, and every time we sit down to play it, it's a blast. We just haven't finished it yet.
Yeah. Yep.
But will PoE live up to the hype, Stokes?
I didn't have any hype because I
That's
didn't
fair.
play the first PoE. Everything that they like, we're making this change. I'm like, one, I either don't know what it is, or two, I'm like, was this not here before? Fun thing about you know the Path of Exile skill tree.
That's
Are you
like
fa- are you fam-
5,000 nodes
Are you
or
familiar?
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw somebody talk about it. They're like, yeah, the node, it's so many nodes. It's like a star map. It's so many blah, blah. And I went,
Oh yeah, I think
that
that's
sounds awful.
I think that's what Mike said.
There you go.
Snowbike
I was
Mike.
like, that sounds like nothing I ever want to touch.
Each one of those is a little node.
That's too much.
Well, let me tell
There's no way that can make that big a
Right. Well,
difference.
here they broke it down into this graph, for instance.
Uh-huh.
You start at there's this spots on that little cube thing there. You start on each one of those spots depending on their class you chose, and they're all like, if you're on one side, you just ignore the other half. You just literally can't get that. I mean, you could wrap around, but there are going to be things that don't affect you. Like the one I'm on, I summon minions. It's like minion damage, and they're all passives. None of them are actual skills, so it doesn't feel like you're really missing too much. It's more of just like optimization. Speaking on the changes and the hype and whatever, Path of Exile 2, they're like, now you can respec. And I was like, are you telling me that in Path of Exile 1, you couldn't change your skills? If you bought a node, you were locked in with all those fucking nodes? Are you crazy?
That's crazy.
And people talk, I was watching like, oh, should I try Path of Exile 2? Like Path of Exile 2 for beginners, or why, you're coming from Diablo. And they're like, everyone brought up bricking a character. And I'm like, that's such a crazy thing to think that you skilled tree incorrectly, that your end game is impossible because it's going to take so much for you to level up to get another skill to like correct, and you can't respec, you can't pull back this way and go left instead of right. And what a nightmare.
Whoa.
That's the thing where I'm like, this isn't an upgrade, this is a necessity.
Yeah,
But they did it. So now it's more playable.
Right.
That's great. But
crazy.
so the hype is something I feel like is only because you've been fucked by the other game. Does it feel like hype? I'm like, no, this should exist.
Tron says, I never got into Path of Exile. I felt like I was too late and too much else to play. But I think I'll check out Path of Exile 2. But I also never played more than 4 hours of the last one.
Last Epoch is a
Oh,
different.
Last Epoch.
Last Epoch, I did play for a while. I did it just to scratch the Diablo itch. I ended up just waiting, got Diablo. Obviously, I love Diablo 4. I've maxed a few battle passes. I've gotten max level characters. I still have one for this one. I talked about Vessel of Hatred. All that's great. Cool thing, Path of Exile and Path of Exile 2, they're considered different enough games that they are keeping both of them live
Oh,
for a
okay.
certain amount. So you can just keep playing. Like they're going to release seasons for both. But also, everything that was purchasable for the original PoE, which all their expansions weren't, they're free. But all of the skins, cosmetics, whatever, they just go to 2.
Oh, that's cool.
So you just have them in both spots.
That's awesome. I miss the days where when I gained a level, it just gave me the perks that level gave me. I didn't have to pick a tree or pick a nodes or figure out what
There's
my
always been
build
games
is.
where you kind of pick the thing.
I
but
just want
yeah.
next thing.
I've started to realize, because Diablo, I thought the same thing. As soon as you hit 50, and when it first came out, I think, it switched to Paragon points, Paragon boards. And you pick a board, you can rotate the board, and you travel to a node, and they're all soft passives. And if you were to break down those boards, they're the same as this eternal skill tree minus the skills. It's all passive.
Gotcha.
And that's where I'm like, I hate this. I don't want to do this. So I just made a different character every time I made it to 50. Diablo 3 Paragon was it was attack damage, and it was a slider. And you would just pick, what do I want? I want crit chance, slider. And you would like add points to the slider essentially. But Diablo 4, I've started to realize like there's a lot of action like Last Epoch that don't do that, or Path of Exile that does it but different, and they go further. I'm like, this game is actually about build crafting. So if I don't want to build craft, I shouldn't play this game. I could play a different game. I've learned to like the build crafting in it now. They've changed it enough. Path of Exile is a different game, but
I think points are fine, but I want it to be like again, I haven't played enough to know because I'm sure it gets crazy. Throne and Liberty. I'm sure there's skill trees, there's this and the blah, blah, blah. But right now is when I gain a level, I get a point, and I can put it in the D&D, the strength, dex,
charisma.
the charisma.
Whatever. Yeah.
You have those 5 slots, and I go, cool, strength, this. I want to do a strength, dex, and whatever build. I just go through and put in those 3, and then as I gain up in levels, it's like, cool, you earn this ability because you are using this weapon and you're at this level. I'm sure that changes later on. I'm still so early in that game, but it's like when I first got in there, and it's like, you gained a level here, use your point. I went, oh no, I don't want to go to his, and I saw the screen. I was like, oh, strength 1. Cool. And I went back to playing, and I was like, that's about the level I want.
Yeah, I've been playing a game called Wayfinder. That is a game I did like a pre-alpha test, like the whole NDA signed the thing, and it was an MMO. But it looks like. Did you ever play Dauntless? It's the
We played
Monster
it for
Hunter.
half second. Yeah,
because they had the pistol guy.
Yep.
It looks like Dauntless, so it's that softer, the gummier, the whatever. But I played it. I was in pre-alpha, so things were buggy and stuff. I was like, I don't know. I didn't take to it. When the game fully came out, it was whatever, $40 or something. So I didn't buy it because it's also as an MMO I want other people to play with, even though it was soloable. Well, they did the game company kind of, the distributor dropped them. They got picked up by another company, and that company was more like, you guys do what you want to do. So they completely changed the game. It's not an MMO anymore. It's completely single player. The game used to be, if you wanted an item, you had to craft it. There was no item drops. Now it's just like a looter. I'd say looter shooter because I am a shooter, but you could also be a sword, do whatever. But it feels like that kind of game. They didn't change the maps and stuff, so there's a big openness, and you can do 4-player co-op and whatever, but otherwise it's offline. It's just me. There's more stories, better NPCs. They changed a lot of stuff, the way stats and everything work in the game. But this is a game where you pick your wayfinder. Kind of like if in Diablo, I could just continue playing, but I could just pick a different class and be in the same spot. But that class has no levels. Like it has no skill levels. But this game, it's like the Wayfinder there are 4 skills that Wayfinder has, that's it. And you can use all 4 at any time, but as you earn a level, you either level up a skill or you get a new one.
Gotcha.
So there was a time where I had like a level 3 of a certain firebomb, and I just didn't get the one that was evasive because I was killing things fast enough. I didn't need to evade. Eventually got the skill, but it was like, oh, you get these 4 choices. And then after that, once you fill that up, all your skill points there's only 3. It's essentially mana, stamina, resources,
health,
and
or whatever.
and then health. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just pick this one. And if you hit 5, you earn a new passive. If you hit 10, you earn a new passive.
That's
and
really
they're all
cool.
just like, they're things that are crit damage, magic damage, ability damage, whatever. The game's really fun in that way. But it's that simple. It's single player. It's shooting. It's looting something. It almost feels kind of like if you took the skill tree away from a Borderlands. But I was like, oh, my what's the word I'm looking for? My expression comes in the visuals of the character, like in how I decide to make them look and the skins, because there's essentially a battle pass thing in it, but it's free and it's not live. It doesn't rotate. So it's like an endless skin grind that you can you pick a character and you grind through their skins.
What was I going to say? Oh, the one that recently shocked me is playing Spider-Man. When it's like, hey, you got a skill point. I went, a skill point? And I went in and there's 3 trees and then each one of those have skills down below. I was like,
you're like, oh, now I can double jump. Now I can fly faster as I swing.
I'm Spider-Man. Just let me be I don't want to get skills. I'm Spider-Man. How do I not know how to do all this?
There's a whole gadget system in that.
The gadgets are a little different because I get it. It's like, oh, I've built this thing. But it's like, now you can hit a point and then boom, launch off. And I'm like, I'm an old Spider-Man. How do I not know how to do that already? What are we talking about?
Well, you're not old.
I mean,
you're just established.
I'm established. I'm in the set. Like, I'm not.
Well, it's always those games where then, well, now it's Spider-Man 2. Now what? I just have all those skills. Like, those are always the weird ones. They're like with Horizon. It was like I upgraded the staff to be able to hack anything. Why can't I hack anything? Oh, because it gets broken in the first mission. Oh, and I got a new one. I got to level this up. Oh, okay. It's like the ludonarrative dissonance. Like, I get it. I'm a video game narrative.
But I was like, I just felt like when I was playing Spider-Man, I was like, I don't want to think about leveling up or points. I'm Spider-Man. Let me be
I didn't mind.
Spider-Man.
I didn't mind. The tree was a little bit bigger than I expected, but I didn't mind. I did like that they still included, despite even if you didn't care about the levels and that, it didn't like really take your strength away.
Right.
And then also they still gave you, because I'm always worried that that's going to happen and then there's just going to be spongier enemies. But it's no, this enemy has a shield. This enemy is going to stun you. This enemy has a red laser. They're going to snipe you out of the air. Those were different enough that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to play Spider-Man 2, dude.
Okay.
It's so good.
But
But that one does have literally twice the skill trees because it's Miles and Peter, and they each have their own thing. And you're like, you'll invest a bunch of points into Peter or whichever Miles because they do have different, like lore and everything. He can go invisible. He can whatever. Peter's just Peter.
Yeah.
But you'll invest points into Miles because you're like, sick, now I can go invisible whenever I want. And then they'll put you in a mission where you have to be Peter. And you're like, motherfucker. What were those points for?
Wow. So now that we're about an hour and 12 minutes
Let's
into the
dive
podcast,
in.
Let's dive in. What did we watch?
we didn't talk about what
We didn't watch.
yet.
No. What did you watch?
It's been weeks.
It has.
It's been weeks since we've talked about anything. I said the word Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Then we got to Black Friday.
And then Black
we got
Friday,
Halo,
and then Halo. Yeah, okay. So anyway,
whatever. Thanksgiving's
Thanksgiving's good. Yep.
I'm just going to start ripping through. We watched Gladiator to prep for 2. Still haven't watched 2. Watched the first one. Got a heart, of course.
So good.
Great. I saw the TV Glow,
Oh, okay.
A24 horror movie.
Thought about watching that one.
I warned you. I was like, I heard this was weird and a little heady.
Mm-hmm.
Just warning you. I thought the theme would be a little bit more subtle. It wasn't quite as subtle as I thought because they like throw visuals in that was like, there's a twist here, but you're showing it to me
Gotcha.
as it's happening. Still got my heart. Still really enjoyed it. It felt really indie. It's funny because it's put out by A24, so I feel like I have to put on a different critical lens of just like, you have a history and a reputation. You could tell this movie was bought by A24 though, because it was like, I could see it exemplified what you thought you wanted to do, and you thought you could merchify this or something, and they've done that. But it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Good.
That was it was about Thanksgiving time.
Mm-hmm.
That was the day before Thanksgiving. We watched it. Thanksgiving, we go down. We spend the night downstate at the very bottom of the state because I'm going to drive back and hit the 6 a.m. Black Friday in Muskegon for the static tape. So we watch a movie with Grandma just to
Get the time.
Yeah, because we finished dinner at 4. Everyone leaves by 5, and we're like, well, now what?
Yeah.
So we were going through Netflix, and she really wanted us to watch the movie with not Jennifer Garner.
Jennifer Lawrence.
No, hold on.
I'm
Hold on.
Holding.
Why can't I think of her name? Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman. Sandra Bullock? No, that's
What the fuck? Miss Congeniality?
yeah, that's Miss Congeniality.
No. It's Richard Gere and wow, bro, we're so bad at this game.
I can see her
We're fake
face.
podcasters. Yeah, so you know her.
Yep.
It's her and it's Ethan Hawke, and apparently the end of the world has happened.
Oh.
And there's the deer in the road is the cover.
Oh, the
It's 2.5 hours long is all I know. And I've never heard a good thing about this movie.
uh
Grandma says she loves it.
we are
Julia
here.
Roberts. Thank you, Tron.
Thank you, Tron. We are here now, or no?
We're still here.
We're still here? Is
No,
that the-
that's the Joaquin Phoenix rapper movie. I'm still here.
No, it was something like that. What's the title of that movie? What's the title of it?
I'm sorry, Tron.
You all fail. I'm at work and I had that.
I don't
I'm
care
sorry.
what the title is because I don't want to see this movie. But she's pushing it hard.
Okay.
She's like, I just watched it. I loved it. Just watched it. I'm like, it's 2.5 hours. Who says I want to? You love this movie so much you want to show it to us on, of course, the tiniest screen,
Yeah.
20 feet away. The most grandma setup ever.
Uh-huh.
It's the Netflix built into the TV, so it runs like dog shit.
Yep.
You can tell it's 720p because I'm like, I can't read anything on
Yeah.
here. But I was like, oh, I don't know. It's a little long. We might want to go to bed or I'm going to fall asleep on the couch. I'm trying to get out of it. But then we ended up putting on A Simple Favor. Because I was like, I've seen enough TikTok clips of this that I think are interesting enough. It's kind of murder mystery. It's a little sexy. It's a little whatever. It's the Anna Kendrick, Blake Lively movie. I gave it a heart. It was more comedy than I expected.
Okay.
On purpose.
Leave the World Behind.
He had to look that one up.
That was that one.
He had
I
Julia
watched that one.
Roberts, but oh yeah, did you
Yeah.
like it?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fine.
I've never heard anything good about it.
It was so middle of the road that it almost gets docked.
Tron, I did.
it gets docked for it's so middle of the road that if it was just
You're
fine.
like you didn't commit far enough, or you just weren't bad enough.
Exactly. So it almost is worse. because of
Clearly
that.
forgettable.
Yes.
But Simple Favor was good. It got
Okay.
my heart. I'd watch it again. I'd recommend it. It was more fun than I expected because it seemed almost too serious for itself based on trailers and things I saw. But no, it was fun. It was very woman in the window, who did it, who didn't do it, that kind of thing. Got a heart.
Cool.
Then on the 1st, we realized we accidentally paid for Mubi for a month.
Oh, Mubi. Okay.
Mubi, which is a streaming service. It's just the like international cinema,
Yep,
like
yep.
that kind of heady sort of shit. But they're the ones who distributed The Substance. So I got the free thing to watch The Substance, however long ago that was. Oh shit, I paid for this. I have a month now. What else do they have? We looked. They had Brandon Cronenberg's first movie, Antiviral.
Oh,
which
you
he's
wanted
only
to watch
done.
it?
He's only done 3 movies.
Yep.
This was his first. Well, probably some school shit, whatever. But this was his first feature. And I was like, I don't know, Shay. It's body horror stuff. Apparently, it's like real freaky. So we watched the trailer, and she's like, "Yeah, let's do it." So we watched it, and it felt lower budget than anything, which made me feel good because I'm like, despite being a Cronenberg, they still didn't trust you, and they didn't.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, good. It looks like you took what you had and you did the best you could with it, and then all you've done is level up. In my eyes, I think he's leveled up. Level up in budget, level up in scale and scope, and still do well. But it also was like, man, this guy's movies are all about the same thing. Like they're not.
He's
they're
got
not the
one thing to
same-
say and he
they're not
keeps
the
saying it?
same movie, but you can tell he's worried about one thing,
Gotcha.
and it's every movie is in the near future feeling where it's like this is sci-fi, but it's like one piece of tech has gone one step further.
Yeah.
Everything else is the same.
same.
So it's like near future dystopia in a way, and he is really worried about dehumanization. I didn't know this, but Antiviral, the whole movie it's about Caleb Landry Jones, from Get Out and The Last Exorcism, the weirdo, the creepy little dude, redhead, freckles.
Sure.
Remember Last Exorcism? He's the brother.
The Last Exorcism. Oh, yes.
And
Okay.
I know you didn't like Get Out, but he's the one in Get Out who's like, you could be an MMA fighter.
Yeah,
you could.
I thought-
he's just a creepy
You
dude.
said Last Exorcism, and I thought about the
Exorcism
Exorcist.
of Emily Rose.
No, the Exorcist, the new Exorcist movie.
Oh, no.
No. Yes, I know who you're
The
talking
Last
about now.
Exorcism, the found footage.
Because he's like, oh, you shouldn't be here. And then when he realizes he's a croc, he's like, all right, you can hang out.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, you're cool.
You're good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
Last Exorcism. That's a
such
good movie.
dude.
So
Such
good.
a good movie.
Damn. Go on.
I bet it holds up too.
Oh yeah. I bet you I could do was
The
it
banana bread recipe.
banana bread recipe?
If you say 2 bananas, you put them with a cup of sugar and you mix them with
Can I get an amen?
amen. And then he looks right at the camera.
So
He's
good.
so good. Great movie. Anyway, Caleb Landry Jones, main character, he works at a company that sells viruses to people. But the technology is they've essentially been able to make a virus that you can give to a person that is non-contagious, so it just stays within them.
Okay.
And what people do is they take the different we'll say diseases, but it's like the flu, the cold sore.
Are they deadly?
No,
They're just-
it's flu, cold, whatever.
Okay.
Think of it like you're going to a store. You go in and you say, I want to make it real world because this isn't it. I want Harry Styles' flu. So there's a world where Harry Styles gets sick. This company says, hey, or really Harry Styles' team reaches to the company and says, hey, Harry's sick. They go, they extract a bit of his blood. They take the flu out, make it non-contagious, and sell that flu to people.
So people can get sick like their favorite celebrities or
That's
something.
exactly right.
Okay.
But of course, the step is more just like you can go to a butcher shop where they are growing. They took cells from, I'm going to say Harry Styles again, took cells from Harry Styles. You can buy a Harry Styles steak.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's just like take everything that exists about this person and they're just recreating it. But they can't, at least in this movie, they can't clone people. So you can't buy a Harry Styles.
Because it's like maybe the soul isn't copyable, but like the meat, the
but they're
blood.
like, you can buy a pound of this person.
Right.
You can buy the cold, like it starts off with, where do you want the cold sore injected? And he's like, when we extracted it, it was on this side of her. So if she kissed you, it would be on your left side. So let's put it on your left side. And he's like, yeah, like if she kissed me, put it on the left side. And that's his whole thing as they sell it.
Okay.
What he does, he's like a black market dealer in a way. He works for the company, but he stole the device, like a copy of the device that lets them control it. So he will be injecting himself with the newest virus, taking it home, extracting it, putting it in the vial, black market, essentially selling it just to make more money.
Okay. He's an entrepreneur, as it were.
Entrepreneur.
Yep.
But that's that movie. Possessor, his second movie, I absolutely adore that movie, is about someone who is like a hitman, but they can jump into another person's body. And they they hitman as somebody who's either working the event that the person's going to do, or they're close to somebody and they have the task, and it's about them getting lost in their person's like I am a part of you so much that I don't care about my own life. I don't care about my own family. I'm just ready to go back into somebody else again. Dehumanization. And then Infinity.
Two really good ideas for films.
Dude, Possessor is so
Two good ideas for stories.
And Christopher Abbott is because of course you see it happen once just to show you here's how it works. Christopher Abbott is the main character that it goes into. Of course shit doesn't go well.
Right.
And I fucking love how it goes. At the end of the movie, I was like, I think there's an extra layer of something he wants to say about this character that I'm like, dude, that's a good fucking shot.
Okay.
Oh, God, I love that movie so much. Weird one to watch on a plane, though, because he's very much like, we should be fucking in movies. I should see dick and balls in movies. Like, full. This should be almost pornography. And that was a weird one to watch on a plane.
Stone, I think it was Stoney. Maybe it wasn't Stoney. Somebody shared with me something about Willem Dafoe and Antichrist.
Have you seen it?
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay. Oh, and how they couldn't use him because his dick's too big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's awesome.
I saw it again, but there's just the famous clip interview of Hit and Run with it was an interview for the movie Hit and Run with Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell. And it was like, you guys are, you're number 3 Hollywood couple. We all know that. And they're like, oh, well, who's in front of us? And he goes, well, Brangelina, of course.
Okay.
Number 2, William Dafoe and whoever he's dragging around these days. And they just crack and lose it. And I just love that joke. But man, Willem Dafoe, what a guy. Everyone loves that guy. Everyone loves that guy.
There's a movie that I really want to watch that I've listened to a podcast, people talk about it, that I have not seen, called Wild at Heart, I think is what it's called, with Nick Cage, Willem Dafoe,
Okay.
somebody else.
Sure.
But I've heard them talk about it in different scenes, and what it's about is essentially Nick Cage is dating this girl, and the mom of the girl keeps hiring people to try to kill him.
Nice.
Because she doesn't want them together.
Fun.
And apparently the movie starts out with Nick Cage just beating a guy's head into the ground until it's mush. And then he goes to prison. And I went, okay, I want to see whatever that is.
Oh, that's
I want to see it.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
But anyway, Willem Dafoe's in that too. But it's before Willem Dafoe was Willem Dafoe. And apparently they gave him like really messed up teeth. So he's even like creepier Willem Dafoe. So
Very good.
Anyway, what you were saying about it was Antiviral, Possessor, third one.
Is Infinity Pool.
Yep.
You familiar with it?
Kind of. Like I know of it, but I don't know anything about it.
Well, to go jump off of the lots of dick and balls, the third one, Infinity Pool, was NC-17 rated before it got cut down. They had to cut out one like 3-second image that was watching Alexander Skarsgård literally on screen. Little, little sploosh.
Okay.
And it was like full, just like, here it is. There's the frame. You know what I mean?
So is the frame
You know what I'm saying?
cut off now, or did they just cut the shot?
Just cut the shot.
Oh, okay.
It was
I was
from,
like,
it was
did they
from
just zoom
essentially,
in? So you
it was
can't-
from
the ends?
essentially a sex party montage.
Okay.
Is essentially what you're seeing. But
You said it was
This
Alexander Skarsgård?
yeah.
Do you think he's like, come on, it's on film, put it out. I
Well,
did it.
It is out in
I guess-
France.
I guess it
Or,
is
sorry, not
NC-17.
France, in Canada.
Oh.
Because Brandon Cronenberg is Canadian. I assume David is as well.
And
but
they're
the
like-
movies are made in Canada. It was NC-17 here.
They
I
trimmed
bought-
it for here.
I imported it.
Oh, of course.
You
got to see
the
it.
uncut
You
version.
gotta know.
It's on the Plex. Actually, I haven't seen the movie a second time. I streamed it the first time, and then I was like, "Yo, this director is somebody I now love," because I've seen 2 movies of his 3, and they're awesome. But anyway, Infinity Pool is they go to some made-up country that's not real. That's what I was talking about with Las Vegas, where we live in this. It's a super rich resort, but then there's the outside. You don't go outside the gate because that's like. They describe it as like Povertyville. They're like there's gang violence, there's this. It's just all
time
negative
machine. You have the
things.
people above ground, then you have the Morlocks, but it's just a wall separating. Got it.
It's the classic. Here's the big resort wall, and the people from outside come inside to work in the resort, and they know they don't fuck with us because shit would get crazy if they fuck with us. We're in this foreign country, and the government essentially runs that resort to be like their main source of income. It's like a tiny government in a way.
Okay.
Well, the premise of the movie is they leave the gate, of course.
Of course.
He gets convinced by psychopath, guy goth.
If there's a movie where they're like, hey, don't do this one thing, guess what? 30 minutes in that movie, they're doing that thing.
Well, they better. Or
Right?
there's no movie.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it better be the thing that they have to resort to at the end, and it was actually the saving
Don't
grace
go to
the whole
limbo.
time.
Don't go to limbo. We're going to have to go to limbo.
We got to go
get
to
her
limbo.
out.
Yeah, that's the only way to
Exactly.
go. You'll never get out. Well, we'll have to
We'll
get
be
out.
fine. How do you get out? Well, the same way we got out of everywhere.
Don't go to limbo. It's so funny.
Every time I think
So
of it.
this is, again, the premise in the beginning. They get convinced to go out, him and his wife. They go out, fun, drugs, sex party. They kill somebody. Whoopsies. I believe they hit a guy with a car. So it was an accident.
I know what you did last summer.
But it's a hit and run. They leave.
There you go.
Government finds out it's them, knows it's them, takes them, and they're like, either you're here in prison forever,
Okay.
or we are going to clone you, and we are going to execute the clone. And we're going to let the I think it's the son, the guy who gets hit, his son gets to execute you or wishes your execution and watch it. And they're like in a special sand room that's really cool. And they're like, you have to be here and watch yourself get murdered.
Okay.
And he's going to be there sitting next to you, watching you also get murdered. But because you're rich, you can pay to have the clone done. It's only because you're this rich resort goer that we're going to let you do this. Otherwise, we would just execute you because that's how our country does.
Okay.
Some like Eastern European kind of feeling country. And they're like, okay, well, we're going to pay to get it done.
Yeah.
But of course, the clone of you is like, I'm you. And he's in the stands like, no, I'm me.
Right.
Except it's him and his wife, and they just watch themselves get murdered. And she's like, all right, we have to fucking go. I can't do this anymore. And then he learns, wait, I can do anything because I can just pay to make another me.
Right.
And at some point, you're like, who's who? Where's the switch happening? Where's the copy of a copy of a copy of a copy?
The Prestige?
It's
Am I the guy on the stage or am I in the
He
rafters?
says there's a 50% chance I drown or I'm in the rafters.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like that, except of course it goes more to the with no consequences and with whatever, what would people do, but also copy of a copy of a copy, who's real, what, like you're getting less human every time, but is it actually you? Has it always been you?
Well-
And it's him, like, where am I? The dehumanization again of what are humans without rules? What's the ship of Theseus? How many times can you remake the ship before it's just not the ship?
Now,
Dystopia, tech, and the tech is we can clone you. That's it.
how does the cloning happen?
It's a very, Cronenberg looking thing where it's like they put like a rubber hole, like there's a hole for your face and it's like a mask otherwise. But they essentially get put to sleep and they both wake up in that same position, but one of them gets taken away is like the idea. You don't get to see them like really get taken away from what I remember. I've only seen it the once, but
Gotcha.
It's a very like, oh, look, you get filled with some fucking magic science goop and all this other shit, and now there's a second you.
The sleeping thing is what, for me, I'm like, I'm in if you just take my blood and go make the clone, because then I know I'm.
Yes,
Whatever
but they
happens then.
both have to
They go
essentially wake
sleep,
up
wake
and they
up.
go, oh, because you can't. I don't know. The procedure of it all is just like, we both woke up naked. Which one's us?
Because in the Prestige, he's like, I never know if I'm the guy in the cage or in the rafter. I was like, well, you're always the person in the water because this machine doesn't teleport you. This machine just copies you. So you're always the man in the water. You're always making the choice to die. The man in
Yes,
the rafters is just the new you every time.
But the idea is, the man that is in the rafters is also the one who lived the memory of being in that teleporter. So his idea is, if I land in the rafters, I was also the one who teleported. You know what I mean? So you're in the rafters, clearly, because you're the seventh person to do this.
Right.
You made it to the rafters. You also stepped in the teleporter. So in his mind, he's like, well, I stepped into the teleporter.
I mean, I guess.
Is it true that the body that's there will always fall? That's just, I've had the same, maybe it's because of the Prestige, maybe it's before, I don't know, but the same thought of like, if teleportation were real, I just wouldn't do it. Even if the me that's here just dissolves, I get deatomized.
Mm-hmm.
The me that's there is not me. Mm-hmm. It's me with all my memories, but it ain't me.
Right.
My soul is now gone.
Right.
You just copied and pasted my soul.
Mm-hmm. Remember the little boy in Charlie and or Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory that becomes atomized above him and goes into the TV? That's a new kid. That kid's
That's
this
a new
tall.
child.
Yeah,
That's a new child.
that child died.
Yep.
Well, we know all the children
De-atomized.
died, really, but
That's really a children murder factory.
anyway.
But that's the in this one, it would be you go to sleep, you wake up. One of you is you, like is the real, completely been you the whole time. But the government is clearly a corrupt thing because they're like,
Yeah.
this is just for money. This is whatever you pay us, we'll clone you. We're going to do this just for the formality, the tradition of killing the criminal. But whatever. And if you're, it's because of the tradition. Well, then they're going to kill the real me. I'm the criminal. The clone isn't the criminal.
Right.
I'm the criminal. The clone is the one sitting there. But where do you lose it? And where are the tells of like, I marked my arm.
Mm-hmm.
So now when I go in, does the clone have the mark? Because that's not genetic. That's not here. That's not whatever.
Right.
How does the cloning? It's very interesting.
I marked the inside of my thigh underneath the balls that no one else will see.
There you go. But you get there, you start
No!
tugging scrot.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit.
Oh shit! That's
But then you're the clone, and you're like, well, I have all my memories. Why would I don't want to switch.
well, simple.
'Cause then I
You
die.
bust them out. Now there's two of us.
Well,
You start creating an army of you. You start creating an army of you. That would be cool.
Well,
And then take down the government with just 1 million of you.
the whole point of this movie is that this guy is an absolute coward.
Oh,
Well, that's not the point, obviously. That's his main character trait.
never mind that.
It's him being amicable and malleable because he's a writer who made one good book, of course, and is now a failed writer and is going to this resort for inspiration. It's very typical. But
Fantastic.
the wife has been bankrolling him because she's the moneymaker and she's the one who clearly wears the pants. That's why she's like, fuck it, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm going to stay because me, Agatha, is having an orgy with all of us and I can do whatever I want. I'm free here.
What's the next movie you watch?
Antiviral is great.
There you go.
I'm really happy. Now that just goes, there isn't a movie of his that comes out that I won't be watching in theaters and surely loving and buying the $300 special edition as it comes out.
Woo.
That doesn't exist, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip this one.
Okay.
The 7th, Saturday, comes around.
Okay.
Shay's doing a special date thing with my mom. They're going out and doing some shopping, some Christmas stuff, whatever. So I'm like, cool, I'll just go to a movie. I went and saw Y2K.
Oh, okay.
It's the only movie. There's only been two other movies in the last 2 months that I didn't give a heart to.
Y2K is one of them?
Y2K is one of them.
Wow.
Which sucks because Kyle Mooney, the director, he's also the guy who plays the stoner in the movie. He's from SNL. He made Brigsby Bear. I adore that movie. It's
Okay.
like one of those ones where if I felt the need to be inspired to create something again, I watched that movie and it's like I want to be a creator too. I want to keep making something, And I really adore it. It's one that I made Derek and Shay go to on Shay's birthday, funny enough. And they were both, I don't know. And at the end, they're like, that was the happiest movie I've ever seen in my life. Like, I'm just so happy.
And Y2K just didn't deliver.
Y2K, well, I'll also throw out, it was Zombie Day for family night. We watched The Dawn of the Dead.
Mm-hmm. The remake?
Yeah, the remake.
One of the best openings to a movie.
Seriously.
Good.
The unrated version, it's a little bit longer, a little more drawn out. So I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
happy they cut this to really just like put us in the action, more like a cold open
Yeah.
rather than an intro. But God, Derek was so into it. He loves that movie because I showed it to him when we were, whenever the
good.
movie came out in 2004, right?
Yeah.
I was showing it to him in
It has
2008.
a really good ending, too. Them on
Yeah.
the boat and the gun and it's real good.
Yeah. And my mom's like, oh man, I wish we could keep going. I'm so sad it's over. And I was like, oh, we'll go through the credits. And then she goes, fuck,
Yeah.
But they loved it. It was a hit for everybody. It was also like, oh, we did. I swear to God, though, Lauren said that World War Z was scarier. And it's the creepy crawly anthill zombies of it all. And I was like, you watched that in a different mental. And I was like, maybe there's a group effect here because if we all watch World War Z, we wouldn't think it was as scary. Like I promise you. But we're leveling up.
Mm-hmm.
Next week's Aliens, we'll decide a movie together here with you because I can't.
Aliens, not Aliens, the movie.
Not the movie Aliens. Sorry, yes, the genre.
Because I was like,
alien
Aliens
feature.
is not that scary.
It's not scary at all. I would
Yeah.
argue. Aliens scary. Aliens not scary.
Not scary.
No, what were we talking about? Y2K. Y2K. It's A24, which I was,
Yep.
I have feelings about. I don't know how it's an A24 movie. Like as I've gone through it, I'm like, I don't know what I'm grabbing on here. That's maybe they were thinking it's more of a Everything Everywhere or Dix the Musical,
Yeah.
or what's the one with Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba where he's the genie, George Miller's movie,
Yeah.
10,000 years.
Yeah,
or something. Like that. But this movie, it was the comedy, the horror, and then it clearly had a gimmick. Like the gimmick was, oh look, it's the year 2000.
Yeah.
I'd say a quarter through the movie, I was like, this is a blast. Like I'm having a blast. Oh look, it's Surge. Oh look, it's things that I was like in the year 1999. I was too young, but I was like, I still existed. And by 2001, these things still existed,
Yeah.
and I can touch on them. But these kids are in high school. I didn't do what they did in high school. Oh look, it's a video store. oh, look, it's this one thing. It's Jinkos. Oh, look, it's everyone loves Limp Bizkit.
Yep.
Oh, it's it's all of those things and the different clicks. And as they zoom in on a click, because they're like, we go to a party and there's all the 5 clicks here. They just play music from the decade that would have represented that click. And I was like, I get it. It pushed on it too much that I was like, man, these aren't fun plot points. They're just like, it felt more like the music in Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Where I was like, you watched Guardians and you wanted to introduce every character with their own song. That's all fun and reminds me of something.
The Ayer
But it's just
Suicide Squad?
It's just too fast.
Or the
Ayer, yeah.
Ayer, okay.
But it's just too fast. You're giving me too much music too fast. It's like you're giving me too many references to laugh at. It's like that's the joke. The joke is, oh, you remember Surge? And I was like, I'm not really laughing. I'm just enjoying the air of the 90s in this. But then it was kind of like a coming of age story that didn't work for me. The thing that they had going for it was like the Y2K of it all was robots became like maximum overdrive robots, but they built themselves into clearly a human wrapped in
suit,
wires and stuff. And it was so much fun. It felt low budget in that way, in a fun way, where I was like, oh, you made a guy wear a fucking monitor on his head.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. But the computer virus that came out was talking like a surfer, bro, and we're totally going to fuck you up. And I was like, I don't know. It's just not, I don't laugh. I don't care about the characters. The horror isn't horror at all. You gave me like 5 main characters. And I don't want to say live or die because that could be spoilers like per thing, but it was like, then you just took them away. They're gone. They're not in the movie anymore, and it's 25 minutes in. I have another hour with one person I care about that you made me want to care about.
Yeah.
Did I? I don't know really, but and I was it was just as the movie went on. By the end, I was like, I don't want to watch this again. At the beginning, I was like, I'm kind of sad that I didn't watch this with you. I didn't bring Shay. I was watching it alone. By the end, I was like, I don't think anyone I know would have actually liked this movie.
Oh, man, that
in
sucks.
a rewatchable. As someone who enjoys A24, of course, loved Brigsby Bear, loves Kyle Mooney. I like the different actors in it. They had one guy from Booksmart. They had the kid from Hunt of the Wilder People.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I really just, I would have wanted to watch this, and I'm glad I did. That's all it is for me. And that's not something I can recommend, and I don't ever want to watch it again. This is one that you if you said, hey, I have $25, I'm going to go buy you Y2K on Blu-ray, I'd be like, just get me Alien Romulus. It's out too. Like, give me something else,
but
you know?
I have to keep with 3 from Hell, so I feel like Y2K should be on your...
3 from Hell's on a different level.
Okay.
This movie, you could tell, was made by people who, like, they all like each other. They're all in on the joke. They all had fun making this movie. 3 from Hell apparently is what happened. I didn't see it come through.
Okay.
So Y2K.
Gotcha.
That's what it is.
What was the one you skipped?
The one I skipped is the Netflix movie. It's What's Inside. The short of the trailer, dude shows up to a party. He's got the briefcase. It's a game.
You switch bodies.
Did you watch this movie?
I have not. We almost did, but we ended up not doing it.
If I talk about this movie, I'm going to overhype it. It was perfect. Dude, there's a montage moment in that with a photo that I'm like, this is the most creative thing I've ever seen in my life. This is brilliance on screen. I'm looking at Shay like, are you seeing what they're doing? I can't. It's the first movie in a long time where I'm watching it and I actually can't conceptualize how it was done. Like, I'm like, I don't know how you did that. I can't figure out it unless you told me you CGI'd the whole thing, but it just doesn't look like it, and I can't picture it.
That movie was one we almost watched, but I went, we just watched Talk to Me. We just watched Bodies. This just feels like another one of those stupid kids doing a game.
It's so funny. Talk to Me doesn't feel like Bodies is a really good comparison.
Really?
No.
Well, I mean, like
if I saw the trailers, I'd be like, these two are the same movie. Y2K.
Talk to Me.
Talk to Me. I'm like, this is meant to be real scary, real horror caused by a party where we watched it, or you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
The game of it is one scene at a party and then a personal house montage, and then shit is negative for the rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Bodies is like, the game feels like it's still going throughout the movie, and this is the same thing. The switching of bodies never stops once it starts. You know, the feeling or the who's where kind of thing. I really can't point to anything in this movie I disliked.
Okay.
It's like, for me, I was like, something about The First Omen was such a surprise that I think it's still going to be my number one this year. But looking it up, I was like, what else has this person done? Nothing.
Oh, weird.
And I said, fuck you for making a perfect first movie. I still think about it. Right, it's not one that lingers. It was just like, it had, dude. It's so stupid to compare it to this, but the thing about it I love the most, I felt like I was watching like a Temptation Island.
Oh gosh.
Where I was like, dude, the fucking drama is so saucy.
That's what I get from the fucking webcam movie. Oh my gosh.
Unfriended?
Yeah, Unfriended, where they're like have the fingers up and they're like they slept with each other's boyfriend. They're almost killing each other,
dude.
While the guy's just playing music and they're just all screaming at each other. I'm like, oh,
you watching this movie you might get the same feeling I did, because I was like, it's if you took 6 friends where only one of them's a couple, but everyone's always had a crush on everyone else.
Yeah.
Except now they switched bodies, and it was like, well, I can fuck you, but you're not you, and we can fuck you, but we. Imagine the couple in 2 other people's bodies now. They can pretend to be the other person, because that's a game. Everyone switches and then we all pretend to be the person we became.
Yeah.
So that you don't go, one person calls somebody their nickname and they're like, oh shit, you must be this person. Oh, God, dude. But what's crazy about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about Possessor.
Mm-hmm.
It's about going into a person's brain. You go in the cold open, you see how it all works. It goes great. Second one is fucked. The whole movie happens. The very first time it happens, it's fucked. Except it's not fucked in a way that like kills somebody or anything. And then it switches back and you're just like, wow, that was really dramatic and saucy. Like, yo, I got some juice. And then they go, let's play again. And it just keeps like dialing up. And I'm like, oh my God, stop. It's so good. Dude, if this had a $200 version, I'd buy it. Like, okay. I truly can't understate how I'm like, is this one of my favorite movies and I just haven't seen it enough yet? Like, I loved it. Every second of it.
All right. I'm going to definitely watch it now.
It was an actor, not a single actor in there I recognized. Mm-hmm. Call it a twist, call it, something in the movie that Shay called pretty early that I was like, yeah, they didn't really hide that, but it's just not about that,
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I'm like, I love seeing every actor that I've never seen before become these different people, and I'm guessing, I'm like, oh, who's this? Who's that? They have a really clever mechanic in the movie that is, everyone takes a Polaroid photo, and if we switch bodies and someone said, you're Brent, and pointed to me, and it was true, I'd pick up the Brent photo and I'd pin it to my chest.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have your face on my chest with your name, but it'd be on my body.
Gotcha.
And it's who has pins, who doesn't, where are the pins at any point, who's making out with who, dude. It's so saucy. But the thing is, I was also like, but fuck you for making it like great filmmaking the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And this montage is, people are telling a story about one character, the guy with the briefcase that isn't there yet.
Yeah.
Why was he invited? Why wasn't he? Oh, you remember, we were at someone's birthday party. No, it wasn't his, it was someone else's. But you see one photo, and as they tell the story, the photo changes.
Okay.
To be like, no, it was this person's birthday party, and it says, happy birthday, Ruben, and then it, happy birthday, Nick. Except it just fucking, the way the camera like moves through the photo, dude, I'm like, it's mind-blowing. I just loved it.
Okay.
Again, I can't talk about this movie without overhyping it, because it seriously was a fucking 10 for me. I was like, I adored this. So it got my heart.
Okay.
And will I be watching it again? Absolutely. But the thing about this movie, though, again, I'm worried about overhyping it. It's not one I would show to anybody else.
Okay.
I don't think, maybe because you like Temptation Island like I do, that you'd be like, nah, I know you're going to like the juice in this movie. But if I showed, I love all the people I'd mentioned here. My mom, if I would have showed Shay after the fact, showing Derek, I would have been like, you would have saw that photo thing and I'd been like, wow, that was a really cool way to do it. And I'd be like, you have no fucking clue how cool that was. You have no idea how hard that must have been. Or like thinking back on writing this movie, you're like, how do you write a script where everyone is physically different?
Yeah.
But you know the person they physically
It's
are.
like James, parentheses, Kevin. It's like, so this is who it's supposed to be, but this is who it really is. And you have to flip on the...
is it James ? Because you don't know yet.
Oh, yeah.
And then, we learned it's Kevin. Is it Kevin? Because is that part of the game? Like who's where? I can't imagine writing this. You know, like how did someone read this and go, oh, I can visualize what's happening? Because they're not caricatures. There's one person I'd say like, you're the stoner.
Yeah.
Everybody else, they're not.
Just generic.
This isn't a jock. This isn't the nerd. This isn't the cheerleader. There's one person who's like an influencer, but when she's in someone else's body, you can't tell.
Yeah.
She's not like flipping the hair of the person or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just, but everyone, when they get in her body, they start flipping her hair and making fun of her, but she doesn't do it elsewhere. And it's, dude, I'm telling you, it's really clever.
Okay.
And it's this person's first movie.
Nailed it.
I'm like, stop. You're done. You're good.
Yeah.
And it sucks because it's on Netflix. And I know I started the movie. I was like, I'll get to this later. I'll take to it later.
Yep.
I did tell Shay after that movie about the bag of peas.
Yeah.
And how I saw it with the vampire thing, with the blood and time passed. Because there's a spot when the switching bodies happens for the first time. He explains it so you know it's coming. And the camera pushes into a character and pulls out as somebody else's face. And I'm like, damn, he switched with this person. And she goes, how do you know? And I was like, well, the camera just told me. And we talked about that. And I was like, there is something about watching this movie too that you're like, the trick of what they showed me is showing me who it is. And they don't say it any other time until it's like truly revealed. And then they switch again. But it's like, I've known for 15 minutes that was this Kevin character. But you didn't. How is and it changed how I watched it because I know who that is. So when he looks at another character, I go, he's looking at them because it's not about the person inside. He doesn't care. He wants to fuck that person. He wants to fuck that body.
Right.
I'm just like, dude, it might be a movie that has that prerequisite. So if I show it to anybody else I love and care about, they might see that push in, pull out, and not tie that together. You know what I mean? But this movie isn't so heady. It's not, you don't require it. It's just, you can watch Friday Night Lights without caring about the peas. But if you do, you start dancing around going like, the peas.
The peas, dude.
You know what I mean?
It's so good.
Dude, the whole movie is that where I'm like, the fucking photo, bro. Like, it was so good. And as people are having like life or death situations in this movie, I'm like, who are you? You know, like, I just cared so hard and I had no idea.
That's great.
I'm just eating ice cream on the couch and all of a sudden I'm like, I put it down.
Yeah, I was going to say the spoon just hits the carton.
And I'm just like, who gives a fuck about anything else in my life right now, dude? This movie is perfect.
This is it. This is everything.
This is everything I could have wanted and more. And I'm like, the first Omen gave me a similar feeling of like, why was that so good? Mm-hmm. Why was this one shot so beautiful? Why was this? I just think this movie isn't is directly a better movie than the first Omen. Because the first Omen has the baggage of being a prequel.
Yeah.
Take the directors aside, whatever. But that's the other thing. Arkaja Stevenson, who did the first Omen, this is her first feature, I believe. But she's worked on 3 TV shows as showrunner. I'm like, this person graduated film school 4 years ago. Like, what are we talking about, dude? This is crazy. I just want to meet this person. You know what I mean?
That's great.
But I don't, because it's too good. I'm like, I'm good.
No, I don't want to.
You can live in mystery. Are you really, Kevin? You know?
There you go.
Dude, so good. That's why I'm like afraid of, it's like opening my heart to recommend this movie to anybody. Because I'm like,
I shut it.
Yeah, I'm just like, no one else should be recommended this Friday Night Lights episode because are they going to care about peace?
No.
I don't know. Seriously, couldn't hype this movie up too much.
So I watched 3 movies, just real quick.
I know. I'm sorry you didn't watch the fucking best piece of cinema and it was on Netflix, bro.
That's true.
It almost pisses me off. Because I'm like, this isn't going to get anything anywhere.
Yep.
Fuck.
I went and saw Moana 2. It's awesome. A lot of people, I feel like, were dogging on it. And the one thing that I've heard is that the music isn't as good, which I would say overall, it's hard to top the music of the first one. The music's great. Yeah. But I thought it still had great bangers, still really enjoyable. And I thought they're doing world building in the second one. That's like, we've got more coming. They set up
Bastion said the same thing. He's like, there's got to be a third, right?
They set up their big bad, and I'm like so excited for more. That's awesome. Even if you don't have a kid, if you like the first Moana, definitely see the second one. Definitely worthwhile.
We watched the first one and we said "Shiny" is such a great song.
Yes.
It was hearing the songs everywhere else that I was like, oh, that song really is that good.
Yeah.
I think Moana 2, you probably got to have the same amount of time, right? Like people might walk away with their one song, but it's like it's got to gestate before Grammatala means something more to you than just the moment she has in the movie, you know, or whatever.
The only thing I would say about this second movie is originally it was supposed to be a series on Disney Plus before it was supposed to be a movie. And I can
Fuck you, Disney.
I can
hate that.
almost feel like, oh, well, not that it's like episodes, but it's like Moana goes on her adventure. She has 3 people come with her. And each one of those characters are like different purposes. Like one's the person that like always wants to build a better ship. The guy's like, I've always written the history, but I want to live history. And then there's the old man who doesn't want to leave the island, but ends up going because he can help grow the food they need on the adventure. Each one of those characters, I could see have more build up if it was a TV show. They could each have their growth and moments and things like that. Where this is like the 3 have their grow up until at the end where they're all better
They do.
now.
I was just say, are they waiting for another movie? But I see
It's like they're grouped together though. Where if they were episodes, this guy could have his episode.
I see what you mean.
Yes,
they didn't 3 all have it
individually.
Together,
it's
had
almost
it as one.
they're all grouped
They had a
together
group
so
grow up.
much. So
Yeah.
I could see where a TV show could have helped with that, but. The Rock just needs to stick to voice acting and wrestling, but I want to see it. Are you kidding me?
Untrue.
We got Red 1. I'm so excited. And we got Moana live action coming out.
You want surprising thing I heard?
Yeah.
Derek watched Red One, loved it. That's not the surprise.
Okay.
He went, you know what I really loved about that movie? The pacing. And I said, the fucking what? Like, he might as well said mise en scène, bro. I'm like, what do you, the pacing? You feel pacing in movies? Like, that's crazy. I'm like, what a compliment. If he cares about the pacing, he's like, it just didn't stop. Like, it felt, everything felt, you know, together well. And I was like, this is crazy. You've been, someone tell you about this on TikTok? Like, how are you watching this? How do you know this? So I'm excited to see Red One now and only look at the pacing. Right. I'm like, it's so silly, but it has to be great.
Right. Moana live action is just The Rock playing The Rock. Well, he's Maui. All right. Tron.
He is Maui. Maui
Put
is
some
him.
respect on it.
I don't know.
You're welcome.
Yeah, whatever.
So.
So stupid.
So Moana 2 is great. And then I watched 2 of my bad Netflix Christmas movies.
I saw you listed
I put
them
one
now.
on and I forgot to put the next one on. So the first one was Christmas Island.
Got a heart.
It got a heart.
I'm sorry to spoil it, but I was like, wow.
Because here's
What
the
a
thing.
surprise.
Here's the thing with the movie. Christmas Island, a place in Nova Scotia, a place that I've always kind of like wanted to live or go to and visit, all that stuff.
Oh, I didn't
It's
know
an
that.
island there. It's where they shot all of Haven. So it's like very like
Oh.
coastal, all that stuff.
If you had told me that fact, I would have known that right away.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I like that. It's very small towny. It's kind of like very like almost Gilmore Girls, where they've got the weird characters that are in the town. They all
What do they
help.
call it? Stars Hollow, right?
Stars Hollow.
Did you know anything about, if I were to say Gilmore Girls Detroit, do you know anything about this?
Gilmore Girls Detroit.
Yeah.
No.
Last holiday season, they rebuilt Stars Hollow in Detroit.
Really?
Like the whole city.
Oh,
Like
no.
not the whole city of Detroit. I mean,
Like the
whole
set?
town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's a festival that goes on.
Oh, I'd
And I was
never
like,
heard of it.
I was like, in my own home state. And I wasn't talking about the show in relation to you at all. And someone mentioned it, and I was like, I can't imagine loving something like, because you love it a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know what a comparison would be, but to make my show a reality and have it visitable, like
That's
well,
crazy.
I'd have to go, right? It's in Detroit. Like that's nowhere from here. That's like next door.
I watched a whole video where they talked about it as like Sean Gunn doesn't actually exist. It's just Kirk doing all his different jobs in these movies. It's not Sean Gunn. It's just Kirk
Kirk.
And then he's like, I'm going to lay out all the reasons for you. And I'm like, I can't watch this right now, but I'll save it. I'll watch it later.
Well, and also Sean Gunn only ever plays one character, right? He's
Yeah.
the Ryan Reynolds of just like, well, you're just Ryan Reynolds and everything now. Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds is Deadpool. The Rock is Maui.
So this movie was fun. It was fine all the way through.
It was pretty.
The very end of that movie was like, for some reason, it's like, they're like, oh, we're supposed to be a dumb Christmas comedy. Let's throw in 4 lines here that are just bad. And I went, you almost made it. You almost made it just being a fine movie. But right at the end, you know, it's about a pilot. And the guy that's like the dude that's like the, hey, airport, what's the tower?
Air traffic controller?
Yeah, he's like air traffic controller, says you can't make the flight, so that's why you get stuck here. They were supposed to go to Europe, blah, 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 blah. She's the pilot, and, you know, she's there, and he does the run to the airport, but he gets on the comm. She's like, I don't want you to leave, and the family doesn't want to leave because they're in love with the town now. And she's like, I just have to go see about him. And it's like, fine. And then all of a sudden, the mom of the family's like, you go get your Peter, whatever his character name was. You go get him. And I went, why did you say that? Like, we all knew what was happening. Why did you have to deliver that line? And then someone else says something. I go, what are we doing? The movie was over. Just walk off the plane. We were there. Why are we explaining what's happening in the scene? So it was like almost all the way. And I was like, that was
I was hoping there'd be like a prime time bitch, like a line that is like, you could speak the words to me so I can know it.
No, it was just like so many lines at the end. Because all the way through, I enjoyed it. It was just at the end, I went, we could have cut these 4 lines out and been fine. And some of the actors in it, I like recognized from other like little things. Like the dad in it is from the slasher TV show that brings the same actors back. I liked him, and it was just like a fine movie.
Okay.
The next one I put on there that I don't think will get my heart. I actually
you had to think on it.
But here's the problem. Here's the reason why. Because I was pretty high when I watched this one, and I was pretty gone. But it was
pretty gone. Wow.
Okay. It's called A Castle for Christmas. Had Carrie Elwes and Brooke Shields.
Oh.
And I'm sitting here watching the movie, and it's fine. It's Brooke Shields is an author. She writes this great series, and then she kills a character in her most recent book, and everyone hates her for it. And then she's got to go to her family castle, or a castle that her grandpa told her about, to like kind of refigure out what she wants to write about. Carrie Elwes owns the castle. He's the family that owns the castle. Her grandpa was like the yardsman, but she comes now. She's rich. She wants to buy the castle from him, and he doesn't have money because they're running tours and has to blah blah blah. You know, the classic kind of like they're gonna get whatever.
Sure.
But as it's going through, and it's like they hate each other, and then they're okay with each other, and then they hate each other, and then they're okay with each other, and they did it like 4 times, and I'm like, guys, the movie is. They hate each other. They like each other. There's one thing that pushes them over the edge, but then they come back at the end. You don't go back and forth 8 times in a single movie. We don't need that much. And then also there was a scene, and this is when I was like, maybe I was too high for the movie, because there's a scene in the movie where 2 people walk up and they're checking into like a hotel or something. And I was like, oh, that must be her ex-husband and the new girlfriend. There's something here that's going to cause a problem later on. They never come back up, these 2 characters. I'd never see them again.
And you're like,
and I'm like,
where'd the 2 go?
Exactly. I'm like, near the end of the movie, I'm
give me the sequel.
Near the end of the movie, I go to Bethany. I was like, was that her husband? Did they show up? And she's like, I don't think so. I was like, okay. Next morning, I wake up.
I like that in
refreshed.
This conversation, your eyes are already.
I was like, next morning, I wake up and I go, hey, now that I understand what's going on, did they ever show back? She's like, no. I don't know what that scene was. It was like literally just wasted characters. It was very weird.
That is very strange.
So that they had like side characters that were fun and it was cute and blah blah blah. Brooke Shields actually a lot of the time was kind of scary. Like she would do like the awkward like, oh no face. But I don't know what they did with her makeup, but it made her look like scary in a lot of scenes. And I was like,
you're like,
I was like, oh my god,
paranoid, scared of Brooke Shields.
So that one probably won't get my heart when I add it to the list, but it was.
Yeah,
Carrie Elwes was
both of
fun.
these movies, if you were to describe not the people but just their character of like, rich author fucks up their book and has to go to a castle where it's owned by this person who's always had it in the family, and now they're in trouble, and the other one's got to. I'd say the woman owns the castle. The man wrote the book. The man is coming into town, and she's going to be the bartender in Indiana Jones of like, I never had a guy like you walking to my bar, like, oh, another newcomer to the castle. But he's like, I'm trying to win her over, you know. Mm-hmm. And then if you were to say there's a pilot
and an air
and
traffic
anyone
controller,
else, I'd be like, well, we're gonna make the pilot the guy.
Yep. Nope. Reverse both of those, which is interesting.
It's very interesting that it's both the women coming to the men in those. But it also makes sense if you were to say, well, it's the city girl who comes to the farm.
Exactly.
And then there's the farmer boy. I'd be like, okay, well, that makes sense. There's a guy who's always been here who is going to lock her down in his hometown, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I get like that makes sense.
Yeah. So those are the 2 Christmas movies I watched. Like I said,
you're right though. It is typically we're clearly enemies or we're hidden enemies or something, and then we end up liking each other. But we only liked each other because of this one lie that you had, and I can't get past it.
But then
you got
to
earn me back at the end, you know?
Because they had that scene in here, but it was after them going back and forth so many times that I was like, I don't care. Because you know they're together, and she's like, you know what? I think I've made a decision that because she's already owning the castle, she's got like a period where she can back out. But it's getting near the end. She's like, I think once I take over the castle, I think I still want you to live here. And he goes, oh, so you're giving me permission to live in my family castle? And that's the big blow up. And I was like, there's the moment. Why did we go through the other 4 moments to get to this moment? This was your blow up. What are we doing? So they had like a good like blow up moment, but it was at that point I'm like, God, you guys have rebounded so many times at this point. I don't care.
You know, I did finish Dan to Dan last night,
Oh, did you?
which also a non-ending.
Well, I mean, because there's more seasons, but
Well, yes, I didn't mean it like that. More so that when I ended, we were just like, we found out one of the girls has hair powers and is agile, you know? I don't want to speak too much.
right.
But there's a character that has powers. You're like, oh, shit, I didn't know you had powers. And that's how it ended for me before they had a fight in a hallway in a water world and all this stuff.
Right. Yeah.
That's where it ended. But then we watched the fight in the water world and we watched all this stuff. But this one was Gigi, I think his name was, or something like that.
Yeah.
He shows up and that was her first crush. He goes, what? And then it ends.
Yeah.
And I was like, in the trailer, he goes, wow, your grandma's so hot. And he goes, I'm Gigi, and does this whole thing. It's still not in there.
Interesting.
And I was like, okay, so I'm not crazy. And then I had to look. I looked on IMDb again. I was like, there isn't another episode. The thing that got me, that I know why I finished it the first time, was because at the end it goes, how did you like this? I'd already thumbs upped it.
Oh.
And I was like, I got here because at the end of the episode, you said, how did you like it? You fuckers.
It's weird because I actually just saw today. I got like actually it was right there. This anime news thing, and it was like most highest rated recent episodes, and one of them was Dan to Dan, and I went, oops. I was like, did Dan to Dan actually finish? That's 8. Oh, these are all out of. I don't. Why is Instagram all out of order for me all the time?
I don't know.
Anyway, because it was like, these are the most highest rated episodes of the week, and it said this percentage for this, and Dan to Dan had a percentage. I forgot to look at the episode number, and I was like, oh, maybe they're still coming out, but I don't think so.
No, it because when I watched it, it would have been like, I think it was in the early 20s of November. So whatever date, I think it was a Thursday, so 21st. So it would have been then the 28th and the 5th. So we're not even a week past its most recent premiere. It would have come out last Thursday. So Derek's like, yeah, it's finished. I'm like, I told you it was finished weeks ago, and it just fit it.
It's also interesting because you're just now.
Sorry, I only thought of Dan to Dan because it's a will they won't they like each other, they hate each other, they like each other, they hate each other. And I'm like, it's every episode. I don't even care though because I love these two.
That's
They're so fun.
it's different in a
That's
movie.
the joke,
Yeah, that's the thing. But then also, you're new to watching anime that's coming out. You're watching Gundam and stuff that's older, so you can just put on the next episode.
I did watch. Remember, I got caught up in My Hero.
Oh, right.
And that was the episode. There was one episode further than I got to, and they had just introduced Stain, and I was like, I could watch the next episode, then wait. I'm like, that last arc felt like a long time. It was a lot of me watching a tournament. I don't want to wait. I don't want to do that week to week. I'm done.
And I don't know.
The Netflixification of it's a little different, where it's a season.
I don't know if it's because it's something, but I feel like sometimes anime will just be like, hey, we released for 2 weeks. We took a week off. Here's another one. Oh, we'll take 3 weeks off. Here's another. Because I feel like I finished the most recent season of My Hero 4 times. And every time I go on there, I go, oh, there's 2 episodes. And I press play and I play. I'm like, cool. Next week I go, oh, where's the next episode? Oh, it's not out yet. Maybe I did end it. I go away. I come back. There's only one more episode, but it's been like 3 weeks. And I go, I'm so confused by this release schedule that I can't keep up with it. Maybe it's also because I'm like fucking tired of My Hero at this point. I'm like, this should have been over already. I don't know why we're dragging this out so far, and I know there's a whole other season, but what?
There are 2 more episodes.
Of Dan to Dan?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I thought they talked about it.
So Derek lied.
Everybody thinks it ended.
Hold on. You fucking saw it, right? I said it ended. There's more than 8 episodes. He's like, yeah. I'm like, so it's just done now? He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Now it is done.
James said the same thing yesterday. James, you should be here. But anyway, James said the same thing, right? There's 2 episodes. That was the end.
Motherfuckers, dude. Make up your mind. Dude, if I watch this 12th episode and then I see a date pop up for a 13th, dude, I'm done. Except I'm not, because Shay likes it. I got to watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's unfortunate. I was right. It was the 5th. It came out. There's one. What day is it? There's 1 in 2 days. I had to make sure that the numbers were matched up. And then there's one the next Thursday.
That's so funny.
There's no 13.
Well, let's wait.
I'm just showing
just
you,
wait.
bro.
Just
I'm
wait.
showing you.
There might be.
Holy shit.
I thought. I mean,
I don't-
again,
I don't-
it's Netflix releasing this, but 8-episode season of an anime is very weird unless it's like something that has not
10
worked
normal?
out. No, there's usually like 20.
Well, everyone was excited for 10. Well, there's only 12.
I know. It's
Is it because they're like, what if we want to take a 1 week break? That they're like, there's going to be 2 more Hero of the Days.
because I think
Then there won't be one because Christmas. We'll catch up in January, and then I'll see a date come the end of. I'll be like, it's still.
and
not
then sometimes it's
fucking done?
here's season 1 part 1, or it'll be hey the Japanese one's out and 3 episodes are out in Japanese, but the dub got delayed, so the dub comes out and Netflix might only have the
that
dub.
was the
So,
case
like,
with
yeah.
Go Go Loser Ranger.
Yeah.
It was I can catch up. I can be caught up in Japanese, but I'm 3 episodes behind.
So it's a struggle, I will say. It's very awkward to watch. And then sometimes the shows that are like, this show's getting so high rated, it's so awesome. Yeah, we're just not doing a dub. I'm like, but if you're doing awesome and the hype is there,
It was James was saying this, right? He watched. God, I'm trying to think. Was it Pantheon?
yeah.
It's on Netflix from AMC. It's got a season. You can watch the second season in fucking Australia Prime. That's it. What?
Yeah. It's,
And then it's what was it? Oh, but then you can just watch it on YouTube right now. Like, how is it on YouTube?
it's
How
so
is an
weird.
AMC show that's brand new on YouTube? How is that possible?
It'd be funny if it's just AMC YouTube too.
You know what? I'm gonna say it. I'd rather watch football. I'd rather have to try and watch fucking football than watch any of this anime shit.
You don't.
How is Netflix? I just talked about the Netflixification of give me a season. How is Netflix releasing something weekly? Sometimes, maybe. It's the ending. No, it's not. I just told you that I got to the end and it said, "What did you think about the show?"
Yeah.
What? If it wasn't so fresh in my mind, I'd be like, I'd gaslight myself. I've already gaslit myself. I'm like, maybe it just didn't happen the first time. Maybe I ended it. I went back to the menu where you can hit play,
Yeah.
trailers, episodes, more, and I gave it a thumbs there. But I'm like, I just fucking saw it with my eyeballs yesterday. I just heard from the mouth of James and Derek that it is done.
Yep.
Dude, that's
Actually, you know what? Let me check something real quick because
I bet you we're gonna see him call her a hot grandma.
because
I bet you I'm gonna fucking see the trailer finally.
because anime now is a little different than anime that I remember seasons being like 20-something episodes. Like I think the best one that I could look up that's releasing
Demon
right now. No, because that one is different because that's a weird one. I think Shangri-La Frontier is a good example because it has 2
Blue Samurai.
seasons. Yep.
Yep.
What is it? Okay, so yeah, this one has 25 episodes in the first season. So okay, and then right now there's 9 episodes in season 2 because it's still releasing, and actually only 7 of those are dubbed. I feel like something had 13 episodes, but I don't know.
I want you to know that when I catch up with Gundam, I'm done.
You're done with anime?
I've done it. I've done
so-
the gamut, right? The thing that Bonsai Pop said was you either like Gundam is a different language. Even if you like anime, Gundam's different. I'm like, okay, I can finish that then. And I'll be on one half of the aisle. I'll be on the smaller half, but I'll be on that half.
I think the bigger thing is you should just pick shows that are done, that you know are done, like the show's done.
But
And-
at every
and-
turn,
and-
every piece of evidence I think I could find, IMDb, where is it listed, what's whatever, where's the manga at, I'm being gaslit.
And I say that knowing I think every anime that I'm like, oh, I finished it, it's done, has come back. So
yeah, right. I'm like, oh, what's this Boruto thing? You
Yeah,
know what I mean? I'm
Boruto,
like, dude, there's shit.
Dragon
I'm like,
Ball.
I can't.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm Derek, how do you watch all Naruto and then go, I'm done, and then Boruto comes out and you go, well, he's alive and in the show and he's his dad. How can I not watch it? It's still the character I care
Yeah.
about. You know what I mean?
well, it's also like because in my head I think of the big one for me is Fairy Tail. Like Fairy Tail ended like a while ago, and then they're like, oh, here's the Fairy Tail, I think 1,000-Year War or whatever is what it's called. Whole new show, whole new thing. They brought the voice actors back, but
Wow.
it's just now it's continued.
That's very different because famously in Gundam, the whole point of it starts in UC 0079. It's the 1 year war.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Like, seriously, like 12 shows happen over the 1 year war, just in different spots in the same year.
Oh, that's kind of cool though.
So they reference different battles that have happened with each other, and you get to like see it all. And if you watch Mobile Suit, the 79 season, those battles are the ones that are often referenced because they happened first in their own, like, no pun intended, their own vacuum.
I talked about this recently where we were watching One Piece, and I was like, they don't need to. I don't know if Oda actually wants to. They don't. They gave me enough information in this one, but I would watch a whole show about Gold Roger and his rise to power and everything that happens with him.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you get the glimpses and you see the big moments and the things and what he's done and was able to accomplish. His crew members who touched him and stuff. But I was like, nah, I'd still watch it all again. Where usually,
I'll have to take your word for it.
Usually, I would be like, I don't need it. It's already in here. Like Dexter's got that prequel series coming out. And I'm like,
First Blood?
I forget what it is. But my mom was like, it's coming out. I'm so excited. I went, oh, really? I feel like I got enough of his story in the show.
Yeah.
I don't need to see.
I got to watch him and Henry talk about their first stuff.
The
and
first
all the
kill.
Like I saw all those.
The growth of him. Like, and then the first season, he's not like it's been, I guess maybe 15 years, 10 years of him killing. From if he started killing at like 14, he's maybe 20, mid-20s in the first season.
Yeah, give him 30.
30.
Who cares?
15 years, 16 years. That window's not big enough that we've already seen the big moments of that point. Especially because if you go to the last season where they add in this whole psychiatrist that had this other boy in him, and like, how is that all gonna like?
Oh yeah,
there's like a
Dr.
lot.
Vogel.
There's like a lot of weird stuff where you're like, it kind of already contradicts itself in its own show. Now you're doing a whole prequel. It's not going to work out.
We all know that it's like you have to keep making the license guys.
Yeah.
Right. I think they had probably more time because they just did that new show.
Yeah.
The Post.
New Blood, I think is what it's called.
Oh, maybe that's why I thought First Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
I did. I watched.
You watched that episode 1, right?
I watched the first episode because it was the only one I was
Week,
oh yeah, excited. And then because it was coming out, I was like, I'll get to it later, and I never went back.
And here we are, much later.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the one that I've been looking at, because I'm like, okay, well, Gundam's pretty cool, but every time I go to Books A Million, I see it, is Berserk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, his name's Trunks, right?
I believe. You said it, and I went yes, but then my mind immediately went to Trunks is in Dragon Ball Z, and I'm like, am I just getting confused?
Yeah, I know. Well, he's got a name like that, but it's just like I am familiar with it enough. Like it's the fact that I still have to watch Guts. The fact that I'll still have to watch a YouTube video on how to watch it because it actually started in the 90s.
Yeah.
Really, there's this 07 adaptation that I'm like, are they the same? Are they the continuation? Are they what is going on, people? Cowboy Bebop did it right. Something original, something here. Just let me watch it. Done. And then there's a movie or show, whatever, like a live action. But that's just another adaptation of the same source material.
Do you have it? Guts.
I haven't looked, but I don't think that. Is that Nick?
Nickelodeon Guts, yeah.
What?
And then we're going to go down here. We're going to go the road, and we're going to take it to Mo. Mo, thanks.
Damn, his name was Mo.
Her name was Mo. She was
right. But
because this guy's like, we're going to go down here. He's going to rip it all. He's doing all the crazy stuff. He's like, let's take it to Mo. And Mo's like, thanks.
Do you remember that the TikTok that was like, I'm at some New Year's Eve party and this guy has a piece of the aggro crag on his mantle?
It's so cool.
And it was like, that is like a holy grail. But
right?
Anyway, what was I fucking talking? Is there a live action Gundam? I don't think there is. I feel like I've seen a lot of things about it now, and I'm not asking these questions to Google, but I feel like this should exist, no?
There are a lot of live action animes that are done by smaller Japanese companies that we just don't hear about. Because every time I see a review, it's like, here's the manga rating, here's the anime rating, and here's the live action rating. And I went, that fucking got a live action? Why have I never heard of it? Oh, it's because it's by a small Japanese company, whatever, never got dubbed, never got over here. So a lot more has been made live action than we think. It's not like you go, well, they did a terrible Dragon Ball movie, they did Ghost in the Shell, we have the One Piece show, Death Note. That's really it. No, there's everything's got something.
Parasite.
Yeah, everything's got something. You haven't heard of it. So I don't know about Gundam.
Haiku live action coming.
Oh God, I'm sure they've done like a small little thing.
Maybe.
It would be tough just because it's like.
Well, if you ask me any of the animes, I'd say it's all too tough.
Nah, because some of them could be done in a way that I'm like, oh, I get like. With all the superhero movies we get, like if I think Man of Steel, I'm like, give Zack Snyder Dragon Ball Z. He would make a kick-ass Dragon Ball Z movie.
I just gotta take your word for it, dude. I
It would be
no
so
touchstone for that.
because like when they're like punching and they're flying, like doo, 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 and they're like going through buildings and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's
Like the fighting in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
You just ramp up with a little bit of punching midair, and then you get the thrown to a rock, and then get up and then fighting. Zack Snyder could make a killer Dragon Ball Z movie.
But if you're gonna give him any of it, you'd give him Dragon Ball. I mean, you care about it, I guess. But
If I gave Zack Snyder anything anime related,
I have only one touchstone. But if I had to give anyone Gundam, I'd give it to Zack Snyder too, because I think it's a show that tries to take itself very seriously. It's almost like we're really serious, and people are like, robots. And they're like, no. He's like, no, it's serious. Like they're actually trying to convince people, where DC is like, we're dark, but we're fighting superhero bad guys.
yeah.
And it's the opposite, where they're like, let's get a dark guy to do the dark story that is actually fun and full of hope and lively, like in a real setting. And they're like, oh, it's Superman's like, why is he dark? Like he's a glowing, golden child. This one is like Gundam is like, it's fun and it's robots and it's whatever, but it's like, no, this shit's really fucking serious actually. So I could take a quote unquote Zack Snyder grim Gundam.
Because in my head, I go, give me Zack Snyder that has now done fucking, what's the zombie movie?
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead.
Dawn of the
That fun, that quirky, that like funny stuff. But give me Dragon Ball Z that he can do that fun, quirky stuff. But then he can also go, fucking Namek, the planet is being destroyed, and Goku is fighting Frieza on a planet that's dying.
Which would you give
so cool.
to Michael B. Jordan now that he did Creed 3?
Which anime would he give him? Oh my God, he could probably. I mean, there's a lot of anime that he probably just has touchstones that he could probably do. I think something a little. I think Dragon Ball Z might be too big because he hasn't done like a lot of special effects stuff. I mean, Creed had the special effects and the visuals, but it's not like he goes, I'm shooting nothing. You know what I mean?
God, what do they call it in Jujutsu Kaisen?
Domain expansion.
Yeah, domain expansion.
Yeah.
I told you, Jake, I didn't want to do this.
So I think
domain
expansion. I think he could be.
He goes domain expansion, and it's all black.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
fighting in the fucking jail, the bar.
I think he could do something a little bit smaller right now, but you give him another movie that ramps it up, he could probably do Dragon Ball or something like that. For me, Zack Snyder comes to Dragon Ball because it's like give all the guys that are like perfectly muscular that are just gonna rip each other. It's like
That's
when I
Watchmen,
watched
right?
Man of
Yeah.
Steel, I went, "Give me a Dragon Ball Z movie. It's right here. I can almost see it."
Yeah. It's definitely the perfectly sculpted, I think, Watchmen.
Yes.
Because I'm like, oh, wow, these are all beautiful people.
Yep.
But then there is, Man of Steel with the bullet speed combat.
Yep. Oh, it's so yeah. Anyway, we're going long. It's like 20
Yeah,
minutes.
I was just thinking, I was like, at what point are we just not even podcasting? We're just talking.
We're
to
just
each other?
talking?
That's,
Well-
I'd say probably minute 1.
I had a whole idea to pitch to you for like a TV show series thing that I was like, why hasn't this been done? And I didn't even get
Is
to
it
it.
too
So,
late?
I mean, I guess I could do it real quick. Watching Friday Night Lights, I'll get into all that stuff with that. I'll get into stuff with that. But this is my idea for a TV show that leads to maybe a movie or like a TV special.
Pitch me,
okay?
sure.
Season 1, you go through all of one team's struggles to get to the championship. Sports. It's football, whatever game you want to do. Probably football because it's got the downtime in the game that you can cut to audience
It's
members.
1 a week.
Yeah.
Baseball's 3 a week. And
Yeah. So you got the football leading up, and you get to the championship game, they're walking out white. End of season.
White?
They're walking to the lights and it cuts to white.
Yeah.
End of season.
cuts to
Season
whites.
2, you go follow another team all the way to the championship game. So you see both sides of the story. And then you have a 2-hour movie special that's
the
the
game.
championship game of these two teams where you're like,
But that's where their arcs pay off.
exactly.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
their arcs are different, but they both have reasons to win. And you got to watch the movie to figure out who actually wins. Some people will be on one team. Some people will be on
Yeah,
another.
I could see it being a. Speaking to Traverse City,
Yeah.
there's a Thurlby Field that is both the home field of Traverse City West and Traverse City Central. The teams, we're not a big city where there's a side of the tracks where you have to go to this school, you have to go to this school.
Yeah.
We're a school of choice county,
Yeah.
so you can go anywhere. So there's not a disparity or something between them. But if you had that disparity, but they had to share a field,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I could see that getting.
Well, like,
And you could be introducing some of the rival characters in the first one, but then you're seeing that
in season 4 of Friday Night Lights, the town gets split, and then they have like the east and the west side. But the Panthers, the blue side, the team you've been following for 3 seasons, they get a jerk to run it, and they fire the coach, and the coach goes teach the other team, and then you're just with the other team. But all the players you cared about on the blue team are gone; they've graduated. all that's left is assholes. They make the good guys immediately bad guys. And then you follow the red team. They go all the way up. They lose every game, but then they face the Panthers and the Panthers have to win to make it to the playoffs. This team is just waiting for pride.
To lose. Yeah.
They end up winning, and I'm like, well, of course they did. They're the heroes. I don't give a shit about the blue team this year. It's just full of assholes and people that screwed over the characters I care about. But what if a show made me care about both teams and I got to the end game and now I'm watching a 2-hour game where I'm like, I don't know who I want to win. I want them all to succeed, but I can't. And it's like almost like gut-wrenching, but in a good way.
No. Here's what it is. First season, it's just the back and forth. You're watching parallel struggles with parents, but one of them is my parents is never around. He's always at work. The other one is my parent is I'm the parent of the house because my parent's a deadbeat or they're drugged out or something. You know, you've got those parallels as they go through the main characters. They're fighting for the teams they meet in the championship. Second season, we're now one school. They hate each other. They got to find their similarities. They go through because you can't pitch it. You can't make that movie. You can't make the 2-hour movie. You'd want to, but you can't.
I think you could.
Well, then why haven't they?
I don't know why they haven't. That's the thing is maybe someone hasn't said it out loud yet.
I think you could run with parallel stories easily enough in one season that you wouldn't have to like pull the brake as hard to go to a different team for a second season where the first season game that you're waiting for is actually now 2 years away. Well, if there's a year a movie, a year a season, it's 2 years away. I think you could just run both at once.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you could run both at once. My idea is to like build up this game to be like
you're going to see both characters at once.
Maybe how about this? Season 1 is like the fall season, and season 2 is the spring, and then the summer's got the movie. So it's just 1 year of content. But it's like a 6-episode season 1, 6-episode.
I was just saying, here we go. Here's what it is. You do it like the Netflix Fear Street trilogy.
Yes,
that's the way.
It's funny because you said you split up the team and you bring them back together.
You air it after the Super Bowl. Yeah, dude, that could be big. That could be big. Hold on, we're on to something.
That's the money, dude. The splitting of the schools and Friday Night Lights happened, and then season 5's I believe the last season. I've got 1 episode left. After the season
of season 4 or 5.
Well, 1 episode of season 5 left. I have the finale. That's it.
Oh,
which is a problem I have. I'll get into later. But essentially, the next season, the next football, they're bringing the schools back together.
Hold on.
But that's after the show. Unless Netflix doesn't have all the episodes.
The next season
of football.
Of weather.
Yes. Next season of football.
I was like, you're telling me there's only 5 seasons. You're saying there's 1 episode left. You're saying next season.
Not season,
What the fuck are you talking about? I see.
So I don't know if the show got canceled or that was the plan of the show was to bring the schools back together, but the show's over. Let me see. I just want to see. Yeah, there's 5 seasons, which I already have a problem with season 2. The whole show's a mess. I'm not going to get into all right now because it is a giant mess, and I don't know why people told me to watch the show.
Dude,
but it's a mess.
What do you think? Halfway through this first season, you're with one team, they lose a player to the other school.
Yeah.
And then season 2, halfway through, he comes in, and you're seeing how he Ted Lasso's a team, maybe how he like changes one character to be better, and all of a sudden you're with the asshole now, and you're like, oh fuck. Team A still thinks he's an asshole, but character from Team A came and fixed character on Team B, and now they're tight. Fuck.
Character A or Team A's got a player who's got a girlfriend who cheats on him with a team person from Team B, and you're like, fuck that guy. And then you watch his son, and you're like, oh, he's actually not the bad guy in the situation.
Yeah, she's the bad guy.
Yes, and you're like, see, there's so many things you could do.
You guys could love each other.
It's like the Flags of Our Fathers, Letters from Iwo Jima. You see both sides of the story, but at the end, you get a game where it's like all the tensions are high. Everyone's invested. God, that'd be so good.
That would be so good.
CW, call me up. We can make this show.
Oh, God, not the CW, bro. We can get better than
Okay,
this.
I'm sorry.
Just say Netflix.
Netflix, call us up. We'll make this show happen,
God,
dude.
Please, not the CW.
That'd be so good. Anyway, we've gone a little long.
Well,
what?
What's up with the last episode of season 5?
I haven't watched it yet.
Well, yeah, but you had. There's a reason why. Is it because of the team split?
No, it's because it's like they're building this up
to something that you can't see.
Well, yeah, because it's like, hey, here's all these storylines. And we have 1 episode left. It's going to be the championship game, I think, and it's going to be all this stuff. It's going to be everything. And no matter what they do in that episode, there's no way they can wrap everything up. So I think the show got canceled. I haven't looked it up because I don't want to know what happens in the last episode. Once I watch the last episode, I'll know what happened and figure out why. But right now, I'm like, there's nothing they could do in this episode that fixes everything.
You said, who told me to watch this? I don't think anyone did.
Yeah, my parents told me to watch it.
Well, yeah, but you were watching All American.
I was watching All
It
American,
like made sense.
and other people was like, and actually All American told me to watch it because they're like, "What's the best football TV show?" And everyone in the All American show was like, "Friday Night Lights," and I was like, "Well, if this show is saying Friday Night Lights is good,
Outside of All American, can you name another one? Me neither.
no."
Yeah.
Well, Ballers was really good.
Ballers did not exist when
All American, yeah.
Oh,
because
for
All American still
yeah,
made.
I guess. I also that's a football movie if Moneyball's a baseball movie. You know what I mean?
Well, Ballers is a TV show. It's got like 5-6 seasons.
Well, I know that's true.
Right.
I meant
Well, Moneyball is a baseball movie.
yeah. Asterisk.
Okay. They play baseball.
Well, no, they don't.
Well, it's like is draft
Baseball is played.
Is Draft Day a football movie? I'd say Draft Day is a football movie.
Sure.
Okay, well.
It's
Anyway,
not a sports movie.
anyway, yeah, it's Friday Night Lights has been a love-hate relationship the entire time. I still think Breaking Bad season 2 is the worst season of television ever, but Friday Night Lights season 2 comes really close.
Season 2?
Yeah.
Oh wow, you're so much farther than that.
Yeah. Well, that was the one that ended on a cliffhanger because
Where's
of the writer's
Lost?
strike and just left.
Where's Lost?
Lost.
Where's Walking Dead?
Come
Come on, bro. You fast forwarded through that show.
Walking Dead
That's gotta
just
be lower
becomes
than
bad.
so much. Yeah,
The show just gets bad.
It
It's not
gets
like
bad, but you watched it.
I
Not-
watched.
not all of it.
I watched up to Negan showing up.
That's pretty far.
That's pretty far. The second season of so Walking Dead for me is the first season I really, really like. The second season starts, immediately breaks rules that the first season set up, and I go, oh, this is going wrong. And then I just watched it train wreck. It was never like I was watching it and being like, why did they fuck up right here? It was the first season's great. They got rid of Frank Darabont. The second season starts, I go, oh, this isn't as good. Oh, it's getting worse. Oh, yeah, this show's just bad now. Oh, okay. That sucks.
What were the rules they broke?
Like the big thing in the first season, they cover themselves in slime, right?
Yeah.
The second season starts, T-Dog cuts his arm and is bleeding open, and they hide under cars, and the zombies don't smell them. They just walk by the people hiding under cars. And I go, you set up lore that these zombies can smell humans.
Wait, wasn't he in the second episode or something? Wasn't he trapped under a car, and there were zombies walking around?
No, he was trapped in a tank.
Oh, wasn't who gets the fucking baseball bat? Steven Yeun. I just don't remember his character name.
Glenn.
Glenn. Isn't Glenn under a car? Under the tank?
They are in the tank. Like, Rick is in the tank, and the radio from Glenn calls him. And he's like, hey, guy in the tank, I can help you.
I'm glad you remember it, because I saw 3 episodes of the show, and I was like, I can't do zombies
I think he
in a
goes.
television show.
I think he goes through the bottom of the tank to get out, but it's like there's a distraction. There's something happening. This is, oh, the zombies are coming. Hide under the car. Everyone be quiet. And the zombie's just like, I don't smell anything. Guy's
walkers.
bleeding. Don't smell anything. And I'm like, God, you already set up lore for these zombies, and now you're breaking it.
Smelling is kind of silly. Just period about zombies.
Totally. But then later in the show, they bring up the smell again, and they cover themselves in slime again to be. It's like the rules just got thrown out the window, and no one cared anymore as soon as the second season hit, because they got rid of the heart.
Well, I also know that. Well, because Frank Darabont. Was
Yeah.
Heart, yeah. I was like, is that the heart of the show's big stinkies?
No, they got rid of the creative
The
heart
driving
behind the
heart,
show.
yeah.
Why the show happened.
Zombies, man. You know, if you told me that this was us just starting and we still got news, I'd be here for it.
That's fair.
We're just talking.
We're just talking.
It's just on a microphone.
Yep. Except for I'm actually really
Well,
hungry.
I know. I haven't eaten a single bite of anything today.
Yeah,
I'm also hungry.
yeah.
But
What
when we eat, we're just gonna keep doing this. It's
Right.
just not.
But it's not going to be.
I think it's also tough because there's probably, I don't know how many times, something that you're like, oh, remind me to talk about this on the podcast. So it's like, we're just whispering sweet nothings to each other around here for a week, and then we can finally speak.
Yeah, I think most of it. I think most
I
of the stuff
know,
got
I
out, and
know.
now and a lot of them are timely. I saw a thing yesterday. It didn't get. It's an Instagram dumb thing, and it's not real. But multiple news sources reported it. But I'm sure one person posted it, and the news kept reporting that.
The news,
Right.
Yeah.
The news, the media
Pop
of
crave.
the yeah.
Yeah.
But it somebody was like or Avengers versus X-Men are gonna wrap up the whatever arc, and the studios are looking for M. Night Shyamalan to direct it. And I went, dude, I'd fucking pay to see that movie, but there's no way that's possible.
Also, what am I going to do? Not watch that movie?
Exactly. But there's no way that's real. But I would
tell
be
me
like,
Air
fuck.
Bud directed that movie. I'll fucking watch it, dude. I don't care.
Air Bud, the director. That's the next Air Bud. He does all the sports, and he's like, "What other things can I master?"
Yeah, I got another thing.
And
Filmmaking.
they snap the thing, and he's just like, the scene's going, "Hoof! That's cut. That's cut. That's day. That's lunch."
Goes to Crafty. There's a fucking doggy bowl next to it.
Oh
Dude.
my god.
So good.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Really appreciate it. Like we said, we could keep talking forever, but we're going to wrap it up. We're going to go get some food. Stokes, did you have anything else?
I got nothing else.
And so today we're going to sign off as we always do and say sweet dreams, and we'll see you for breakfast.